And hello, what is going on, everyone? Welcome to, I guess, Fun Speculation Podcast slash PM and the PM slash Xbox Ultimate, because we are going to be doing one show now. And it's going to be interesting to see how all this goes, because this is going to be good. I mean, it's cool to have one show because we can kind of like try and put everything into this, right? And make it the best show possible. It's also a little sad to lose a little bit of a flavor of each individual shows that we had. But I think you'll be seeing a lot of all the guys here, and we're going to have a great time in the future on this channel. So I'm glad to be back, and I am glad that the one and only Pong Soul is back here to start the show with me. We'll have more coming in. I think Fuzzy will be here in a little bit too. But sup, Pong? How's it going, man?
Well, Mav, it's been a while. Mic check, mic check. Hopefully everything's working properly. Everybody, is this for real? Are we really back? Is this Thursday night? Of course it's Thursday night because I was late. It wouldn't be Thursday night if I wasn't late, Mav. And Mav, what a more appropriate way to come back to the Fun Speculation channel, right? When Xbox is dead. Yet again, another fucking funeral. Like, how appropriate could it be? Sorry, I'm not supposed to use F words in the beginning of the show because YouTube doesn't like it. But anyways,
fuck them.
How more appropriate could it be that Xbox is dead and we are having our first show back, and I was late. So it's all working out. It's all part of the plan. Working the plan and planning the work, but it's great to be back, Mav. Great to see your face yet again. I know we did a couple weeks ago. Of course, we were doing a showcase and all that good stuff, so that was great. But it's great to be back on Thursday night. It's great to see the chat back, hanging out with us again. Thank you all for being on hiatus with us and then coming back now that this is all working and Mav's got his new room set up and he's got his technical stuff actually working. So thank you all for being here, man. It's great to be back. Great to have whoever in the fam is going to be able to join us each and every week come through. Like Mav said, it's going to be a little different than our normal PM that we had for so long on Thursday nights, but that's okay. We're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about. You know how Thursday night news works, and today was no different, everybody. Rumors are starting to spread. Xbox is dead, and we're going to be hearing some bad news, supposedly, so I'm sure we'll get into a little bit of that. Plus, there's been some crazy news since we last spoke to y'all, too, as far as Xbox and doubling and tripling, quadrupling, and down on coming for next gen, which might be coming sooner than we think. As far as me goes, Mav, like I've been talking about on a living split screen, I've been ultra busy. We're now getting in this time frame. I told everybody this year was going to be crazy for me. It's going to be crazy for me. And I'm just ultra busy with work and everything else I got going on in real life. So I haven't been gaming as much as I want to. But still trying to get in sessions here and there. And, I've been grazing like a mofo between things like Stellar Blade and what's some of the other stuff I've been playing? Oh, I've hopped into, of course, some Age. What else I've been doing? I've been doing a little bit of everything. Oh man, what's
Stellar Blade?
Oh, bro, it's freaking fantastic. On story mode, because I'm not playing right now. I'm on easy mode. Yeah, I'm on reviewers mode. That I told everybody in living split screen that's what I was gonna do because I played the demo, so I tried it out. Story mode is perfect because it's not like you're just walking through combat. It's still combat, but it plays more like Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, right? I can hack. I still got to parry. I still got to do some dodging. Otherwise, I'm going to die. It's not quite that simple, but I get to play with button mash and have a lot more fun than, Mr. Steel Rain, who is doing hardcore over there. But I'm loving it. It is such a gorgeous game. The game is so much more than just a Gooner game, as everybody tried to downplay it. All the haters try to downplay it. This whole thing, because the East is now producing really high quality games and the West hasn't had the best track record. They've been up and down, but the East has been just pumping out all these games. And of course, they still like beauty. So Eve is beautiful, but that's not all this game is about. Yes, they leaned into it. Yes, the modding community in the PC side is freaking nuts. And of course, we all knew what they were going to do. But at the end of the day, this game is a good to great game Go look at Steele's screenshots. Go look at his comments, his gameplay. He had gameplay last weekend on Living Split Screen. Steele is playing on the hardest difficulty. He's planning on playing the new game plus mode too, which he doesn't rarely does. This game is a good to great game when it comes to the combat, when it comes to the atmosphere. It's got a lot of near to it. There's just so much goodness in this game beyond just a good looking character that I saw why so many people, were kind of hyping it up like it should have been in conversations last year. Stellar Blade is much more than just Eve. And so, yeah, having a great time with it, man. Having a great time with it.
Yeah, that's
Loving it.
awesome. Yeah, I guess actually what I've been playing the most recently is
Yeah.
Mario Kart.
Oh my God.
Yes,
Why?
because
Why?
we had the FOMO and we got a Switch too. Although my daughters stole it quite a bit, so
Yeah.
she's been playing the heck out of it. She got Deltarune, which is made by the people that made Undertale, and so she's been playing that.
Okay.
She's also been playing this game that came out. She's been playing this on Xbox. It's called it's called Date Everything.
Oh, I've heard of this
Yes.
game.
Yeah, it's called Date
Yes.
Everything, and
Yes, I have heard of this.
basically the objects in your house become people that you establish relationships with. So I think
Dope.
her first boyfriend in there, his name was Edison, and it was a breaker box. So
That's shocking.
yeah. So that's what she's been playing. Her birthday's tomorrow. Turns 14. So
Oh, well,
yeah.
happy early birthday to her.
Yeah, for her birthday we've been redoing her room too. So we've had a lot going on around here. Like work's been crazy. We've had a lot of other stuff going on, but her 14th birthday, so she's kind of like wanting to move past the baby stage and get into like, hey, I'm a teenager now, right? I want like no more pink stuff, So we painted her room, got her some furniture and stuff, and been working with that. We've been doing this room as well, because we have some plans coming in the future for doing some stuff together in here. So man, been pretty wild. No, not OnlyFans. But it's been pretty crazy. But yeah, it's been weird because all these great games I've been looking forward to have come out, and I've spent like a little bit of time playing them, but I haven't spent a lot of time playing.
Right.
Like Oblivion, like I've dabbled, I've dabbled in Doom. I actually love Doom, but
Yeah, Doom is great.
I haven't spent as much time playing it as I want.
Nope.
Neither
have I.
It's been crazy. Yeah. So
I did dive into Mav Final Fantasy 16. I played the demo. I didn't buy it. I
What'd you
played the
think?
demo. Liked it. I posted about it this week. Really enjoyed it. First impressions were really, really, really good.
Mhm.
It is RPG light. Like we are on the cusp of just making an action game. Although Square came out this week and said they're going to do more turn-based now again. Let's go. But anyways, we'll see how that plays out. But it is very well done. It is very mature, which I was kind of. It should have been surprising me because Final Fantasies can get pretty mature, but this one was like on a different level. But I do love the high fantasy settings. I've always said that about Final Fantasy games. I think they're at their best, even though 10 is still my favorite overall. I still think they're at their best when they do high fantasy Final Fantasies. I love the story, love the characters. It's a gorgeous game. Action is the combat is freaking dope. Everything right up front, just really well. I played through the entire demo. I got to the end of the demo. I will be picking it up later. Not now. I have zero time for it, and it's not going to be in the rotation. But
Yeah.
I do want to say, so far so good. I really enjoyed what I played of Final Fantasy 16. And the other one I should bring up too, Mav, Star Wars Outlaws. I finally jumped into the demo.
What do you think?
After all this freaking time, after all my problems with Ubisoft, I saw the demo sitting there, and I cleared out a bunch of room for Final Fantasy 16, and I was like, well, let's try it. I know they changed a lot, and I don't know what version the demo is. I don't know how updated the version is. But outside of Nyx being a dumb little character, which of course I knew right away I was going to hate, and I hate him already. He's annoying as hell, and he does not need to be there. Outside of that, her character models being extremely subpar.
She
And
has
she
like
does
this
look ugly.
morphia. Like sometimes she
She
looks so normal, and then like sometimes
It's normal.
yeah, it
Sometimes it's not good.
Yeah.
So so that was the main one. Obviously, that was a big talking point. And obviously, again, I didn't play it when it launched, and I still haven't. I just played the demo. But I know the sneaking and stuff was what a lot of people were complaining about. But like, I don't atmosphere wise, Mav.
It's great.
It's fucking Star Wars, man.
Yeah.
And it's what I said originally I was so hyped for when I first started seeing the game, and how I was really, really hyped for it. Like, it's everything there. Like, the Star Wars feel is there. And so far, like, the writing and the acting, it's good.
Yep.
Like, I haven't found like any real problem. And I've been getting picky with my writing lately. You all know, if you've heard me talk about this stuff recently, I've been getting pretty picky with my writing because it's gotten so bad in a lot of games. It's not bad in this at all, but it feels like Star Wars. It's kind of tough too if you take on some of the side missions and you just think you're gonna roll in there. You ain't just gonna roll in there. The AI is gonna peg you off, man. Like, I know you were playing it for a bit, and I don't know when's the last time you played it, but I was playing through the demo and I was like the hate and how fast this game disappeared is pretty crazy to me. Like, I'm going to pick this up down the road for sure now that I've kind of played the demo and gotten there's a lot to freaking do, Mav. There is random encounters that happens like this. I'm only on one planet. The speeder bike feels freaking great. The gunplay, and I haven't even upgraded my guns. Like, I've gotten like one upgrade or two upgrades in the demo that they feel great. Like, I was playing it and I'm like, man, this game overall, and like I said, I knew about the kind of the surface level complaints. We were talking about it. I thought her character model was ugly. I didn't think that did a terrible job. We talked about that. But I was like, the gameplay itself, unless this has dramatically changed, and all of a sudden they changed it completely from what people were playing in the beginning, I'm like, I don't know how people had a problem with this. This is feeling pretty damn good, man.
I think most of those tweaks they did was with the stealth mechanics and stuff like they have.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't get the hate either for it, especially that compared to how something like Jedi Survivor launched, which we've talked about numerous times, and how
broken
like
shit.
like Star Wars Outlaws was like a super smooth, polished experience at launch. Like, people had some issues with some of the mechanics, right, in the game,
right,
and obviously the character model and stuff like that. But like, overall, like, it was a very solid game. Like, I didn't really understand. I think Jedi Survivor is too. It just had its own technical issues, right? But it's just crazy how the picking and choosing thing continues to be a thing out there, right? And sometimes it's warranted, sometimes it's not, But
for sure,
it is what it is. And Final Fantasy 16 also, I don't think it should necessarily be a mainline Final Fantasy game as well, because of how the mechanics of RPG are so diminished within it.
Oh yeah.
However, as a game, story wise, it just being fun and awesome, and it does ooze
Gorgeous.
Final Fantasy like throughout it. Like, so it would be for me like an amazing spin-off series, like if they went that direction, like as an action game, with RPG light mechanics. But yeah, that one was awesome too, dude. Like, but yeah, I don't think that one got as much hate. Just more so from, I guess, Final Fantasy purists and stuff. Like, but overall, there's so many things I need to finish and play, dude. It's crazy the amount of good games. And hey, we'll be able to access all of those from one place.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will, sir. Oh, wait, what are you talking about, Mav? That's never going to happen. They would never do that. Never. It makes no sense for them to do that, Mav. It makes no sense.
Crazy.
For them to do that.
Just one launcher for everything you own across all your libraries and storefronts.
Why would they do that, Mav? Makes
One
zero sense to me.
day we could have this one
Xbox is dead, bro.
console future where we could just have everything in one place. Who would ever thought could be feasible? I wonder who's gonna do that. One day. Yo, Web Dave hit us with a $2 super chat. Shout out to Web Dave. Says Mav Pong, let's rock. TTS homies, like and share. Yeah, everybody. Thanks for everybody tuning in to the show.
Thanks,
Thanks
Dave.
for rocking with us on our first podcast back. Now we were back a few weeks back for the showcase. We couldn't miss that. As you saw me streaming from my wife's office. Now we have a co-office, so it's really cool. We have like a co-space here. But like that was like just 3 weeks ago. I think it was like 3 weeks ago. Was it? Has it been that long?
Yep.
We had an amazing showcase. Then we had Xbox kind of riding that wave with the whole next gen announcement, right? AMD Xbox collaboration kind of solidifying the whole Xbox console PC hybrid future of Xbox, unified storefront Xbox everywhere thing, continuing to push that initiative. Then all of a sudden more layoffs are rumored with potential studio closures, layoffs at big studios. And that kind of is putting a damper on things again because, you have people like Dreamcast Guy making the Xbox is dead videos and everything again,
Well, he does that every week, so he really doesn't count.
Right. Then you have Colt saying we're going to maybe need to issue him an apology soon, which is interesting.
Which is weird.
Yeah. So, it's kind of, the layoffs are a thing. I guess we'll tackle that first, if you want to. I mean, we get the negative out of the way first. Right?
Oh, we like to start the bad out of the way. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I'm not like, I don't know how to like. Obviously, they suck, right? And we don't know the official news yet. We don't know the official details.
No,
right?
No, we have nothing.
So
nothing.
What we have right now is a lot of murmurings from big time insiders in the industry, basically Henderson, Warren. Jez or all these people are talking about it. Massive layoffs coming across Microsoft, but also affecting Microsoft gaming and Xbox in big ways, and going to be cutting into some of the studios, namely one that was discussed, I saw today on Twitter, was Turn 10, and especially in Europe, they're discussing over there as well. So that's hence the beautiful thumbnail my wife made again, baby. It's kind of with all the hype and excitement. It was kind of weird because there's been all this doom and gloom for a couple of years about the direction that Xbox was going. Then it seemed like everybody was like, "Hey, I'm actually getting in on this. I'm down for this because this seems awesome." Hey, we are getting future consoles. We're getting future hardware. We're getting this unified hybrid system where we're gonna be able to access all our games, and then now all of a sudden again Xbox is dead again, all in the matter of less than a month. And it wouldn't be Xbox if this wasn't the wave that we're riding with news, right? It's just kind of always like that. And I think it's going to be hard to say exactly how deep that rabbit hole goes with layoffs until we actually get the official news. But right now, it's mainly seeming like it's going to affect some of our favorite studios that we've had a deep history with for a long time, namely me with Turn 10 and Forza Motorsport. So we'll have to see how that goes. Hopefully they're not shuttered. I don't think that was the rumor. I think it was mainly about just
cuts.
Yeah, cuts there, more streamlining everything and all that. But I don't know, Pong. If they come out tomorrow, let's say this news hits tomorrow, and let's say half of Turn 10 is laid off, and there's like a studio closure, like let's say Ninja Theory, right?
That'd be weird because they posted today that they were hiring, so that would be
Right,
strange,
that would be
but
strange.
not the first time ever, but
Yeah.
it would be a little weird, yes.
So listen, I'm just picking a random one, right? Ninja
Yeah,
Theory
no, that's fine.
shuttered,
Yeah.
and let's say that like Obsidian had like laid off like 150 people or something like that. I don't even know how
Mhm.
big Obsidian is, but what does all of that mean overall? Does that show that Xbox is smaller? They're getting out of the console space. They're getting out of the hardware space. Is what I've seen a lot of articles and talk already about this, about them moving away from hardware after they just announced hardware.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what? How do you feel
Quadrupling
about?
down multiple
Right.
announcements of hardware. Okay. Anyways, yeah, no, go ahead. Sorry. Finish
Is
up.
this just another big corp and
Hmm.
another
Yeah.
thing happening? You think that's just kind of been what the history's been the last few years, or is this something more major going on at Xbox, signaling the downfall?
No. Signaling the downfall of nothing. No, there's no signal of downfall. This is, but I mean, first things first. Nobody should have to continuously say that, but I guess it's always important that we do say this up front so nobody ever sees this and ever questions where we stand. I don't like to see the little people lose their jobs ever. Okay. Big people, depending on position level, sometimes I don't ever root for anybody to get fired. Well, I shouldn't say that. There's been plenty of people that I've rooted to get fired.
Yeah.
But at the top, like I don't have as much sympathy than I do the little people. And it's always the little people that are going to get cut first. It's always that way, right? So I'll just say that up front. However, I say that, but I'm kind of past the point with this industry because we've talked about this for so many years, Mav. I'm on the other side of this hill, and I've been talking about this since probably the end of last year and the beginning of this year as we saw more and more cuts happen. This industry is obviously bloated. This industry across the board when it comes to AAA, the AAA space. I'm not talking about indie and AA. I'm not talking about the smaller scene. I'm talking about the big boys here. This is something that they've all talked about, something we've seen firsthand. The blame is obviously at the top of these corporations for the decisions that they made, but they made terrible mistakes in creating this bloated monster of an industry because of how well they were doing and how high they were riding on profits, and they still are. And that's my biggest problem why the little people shouldn't get cut. It should always be the big people at the top that take cuts to their bonuses first. It should never be the little people that get cut out of this deal, but they're going to at this point. And so we just got to talk about it realistically. They have destroyed the AAA industry in a lot of ways. This is a problem. They blew up their teams. They decided that you now needed 300, 400, 1,000 people working on AAA games. You needed budgets that were no longer, cool 50 million or 80 million or maybe 100 million. No, you needed budgets at 200, 300, 400. Hell, GTA 6 is supposedly over $1 billion budget. When you do something like that and you blow up your pipelines and you blow up the whole way that the devs do work, which now means that you have about 20 different people who are specialized just to create chairs or trees or clouds in your game, and they don't know how to do anything else but do that. And now you got this broken communication chain of leadership where nobody knows what anybody else is doing. And when you have to get everybody together to figure out what everybody else is doing, you're talking about getting together 200 people and then have everybody try to decide that they're all on the same page. And we've seen time and time again that this just doesn't work. So we're now at the point of contraction. And I started talking about this last year as it being a realistic, not just, we're trimming back from the pandemic size that we kind of grew because we thought the pandemic was going to make us all filthy rich and it was never going to end, and that we were just going to have, we're going to need, X amount of people consistently forever. That didn't turn out to be the case. And so there's some of that here, and there's been some of that for the past few years now. But this goes beyond that. I think the AAA space is contracting, and we're just going to use Xbox because they're right now happening. But obviously, it's happened everywhere, and we're going to see it continue to happen everywhere as well this year. It's not just going to be Xbox who does this again. But with Xbox, with all the with all the purchases they made, and especially ABK being massive, right? What was it reported at the time of purchase map? 13,000 devs or something like that, 12,000 devs, something
Yeah,
crazy like that.
that was a lot.
15,000 total employees, something like that. Um, when this stuff is going to occur, and they are going to reformulate how they create games, and I think all the AAA devs are doing, or all the AAA publishers are now doing that. They're going to reformulate how they are going to create these games. And there are integrating AI into this as well. And they are now forecasting what AI is going to be able to do. And we know Microsoft has invested heavily into AI and has already come out and stated that AI is going to help dev teams, if it's not already is helping the dev teams and the game makers. That costs human jobs. That's been one of the greatest complaints about AI, or one of the greatest fears of AI, and people waving the flag saying we can't do this, is going to be the cost to human beings and their jobs. And AI, obviously, in the tech space, can do a lot of work that the devs and that other people in tech do. So this is going to be our first look at what that is also going to impact. So this is a contraction map. And I think this is a reset by the AAA devs. I think eventually we're going to see smaller teams, now that we've seen, Mav, again, this year, last year, but this year, let's just take Game of the Year contender, the front runner for Game of the Year, Expedition 33. Once again, proves that you don't need 500 people making a $300 million game that takes 7 years to create and come out to have this high quality. These smaller teams from the AA and indie scene have been proving to the big boys for the past, especially the past 3 years, time and time and time and time again, that they can create stuff that is on par or even better than the big boys. You got Square Enix rethinking their whole RPG side of things now because of what Expedition 33 proved this
I
year.
look at Kingdom
Okay?
Come Deliverance 2 also.
Looked at Kingdom Come Delivered. Exactly. Look at these games, right? You can even take like Alan Wake 2, right? $50 million budget, supposedly. Now, it didn't have the greatest sales, but it's got legs, and it always will. Alan Wake 2 will always have legs. It's got some legs, but it was only a $50 million budget, and it was 100 people. So I think that you're going to have this coming to Jesus moment for these devs, or for these publishers now, these bloated publishers, and they're going to start to restructure. And this is the beginning of it for Xbox, or not the beginning of it. They've already started, but this is the continuation of that. As sad it is for these people to, obviously lose their job. Nobody wants to, but this industry is no different than any other industry. Devs are no different than any other employees, any of us who work for a corporation or work for a business, whether small or big. All of us probably at one time or another, unless we've been extremely lucky, have been in the position of shit hits the fan and all of a sudden there's layoffs. And you got to always have your head on a swivel. You always got to have your resume updated, and you always got to be ready. And I think that devs have been seeing this coming for a very long time in this industry. So, they're no different than everybody else. So I don't want to treat these devs like they're special, like, oh my God, all these devs are going to be, yes, they are. And it's sad and it sucks. It sucks for their families. It sucks for everybody involved. And it sucks to see a $3 trillion company who is just projected to hit $5 trillion in the coming years decides to take it out on the little people. Yes, that all sucks. I've talked about that so many damn times, but this is kind of the state of this industry. There are more people working in this industry than are needed currently. As sad as that sounds, that's especially, and I'm talking about the AAA space, that's what's happening right now. That's why you see so many devs, Mav, leaving and forming their own studios if they can now. That's why you see this kind of migration back to, hey, we're going to open up our own studios, right? Just like Samfall did and create Expedition 33, right? This is what's we had another one today, Republic Games. Chris Avalon from Knights of the Old Republic 2, Fallout New Vegas. He's getting with the one of the guys from Detroit Become Human, and they're going to work on a new RPG. You see this more and more, Mav, because of this contraction, because of this change in the industry. And I think the AAA space, this is what we're going to see next couple of years continuing. Sorry, that was really long-winded. I haven't talked about this yet, but really believe this is a contraction that we talked about. I think AAA space is going to contract, get smaller, restructure, kind of rebuild itself around smaller teams, maybe even smaller games, smaller projects per se, with much better pipelines, much better dev cycles, and kind of fix all the stuff that they broke years and years and years and years ago, and come back to what we used to see in the 360 PS3 generation for sure, where teams were more nimble, teams could put out multiple games. We see this as Obsidian is a perfect example, Mav. They are putting out we have 3 games from Obsidian this year, and that's not a giant studio. That's a studio of I think
Yeah.
what 350 somewhere in that neighborhood. So their teams that build games are about 100 people or less. We saw what they did with Grounded, and now they're making Grounded 2. We got Outer Worlds 2 coming this year, and we had a Vow drop. Now, again, we'll find out the success of all those. But what I'm saying is they're kind of a throwback, Mav, to what we used to have when we had studios that could put out a trilogy in one generation. And I think the AAA space is going to try to get back to that.
Yeah, 100%. Fuzzy Belvedere, what's up?
Up, guys?
How's it going, man?
Storm finally cleared here. Had at least had to get a bite to eat before I get on here. Didn't want to pass out in the middle of the show, but glad to be here with you guys. Man, it's been a while, but
been a minute, man.
yeah, I've tried to stay off social media because of all the back and forth over silly stuff, but
Yeah, it's a
to
thing.
tail in what Pong was saying with the AAA space.
Yeah.
It would be nice if they could get back to things. Like I like the meme going around of, Ubisoft versus like the devs for Expedition 33. I guess some of them were former
Yes.
Ubisoft devs as well. So it's like these bigger companies gotta. Well, I hate to say the word trim, but they're and some of them are going through that. But there's got to be a better way to get productivity and stuff like that. Like Obsidian, hopefully maybe they're the model moving forward for Xbox studios and stuff, but yeah, there's a lot of them that it's like they do that ebb and flow every so often. It's like, oh, hey, let's ramp up for this game. Okay, the game's delivered. All right, you can lay those people off. And then you do it, it's like rinse and repeat. Do it 2 years later, ramp up, lay off. They got to come up with a better balance.
Yeah, it's kind of. I mean, we're gonna be seeing this stuff for a while. I mean, Ubisoft, WB Games, also is still majorly in trouble. With their issues. You have Sony has still been doing their thing there. You have, I mean, tons of different companies. The interesting thing about this is like, I mean, this is in a way it's a little different because this is like a Microsoft thing also. It's when you have just like Ubisoft or I would say even PlayStation at this point, because PlayStation is most of Sony if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
but like Microsoft is freaking massive. It's one of the biggest corporations in the world with like hundreds of thousands of employees and stuff. So it's like when I think they've talked before about having multiple waves of this as well, and we haven't seen all of it. And the reports are coming in, and I think as gamers and everything, we always hyper focus on the gaming aspect of it, like, oh, Xbox is doomed, Xbox is this and that and stuff, because wow, it's going to affect a lot of our favorite studios and stuff, or may affect some of our favorite studios. But that also in a way did, like, it comes with the territory of how big Xbox is within Microsoft now. Like when you have Microsoft and as big of a corp that it is, with Xbox now being one of the main pillars of the company, yeah, when they are trimming and they're streamlining and they're going through doing massive cuts across the entire company, when it's going to affect all of the pillars, and it's going to affect Xbox in some ways. It doesn't mean that Xbox is, but the thing is, when people, us gamers, like, and a lot of people I see online, like, hyper focus on it, like that means Xbox is dead, that means Xbox isn't succeeding, that means this is that. Like even some of the most profitable divisions they have within Microsoft are gonna have layoffs across them when you have that many employees getting cut. So it's interesting to see the hyper focus on the gaming aspect, because that's what is the most interesting thing for a lot of us. Is like, wow, turn 10, if they have a lot of layoffs, wow, what does that mean for the future of Forza? Or what does that mean for this? What does it mean for that? Right? But ultimately, I think that Xbox is still cemented within Microsoft as a major pillar, and when they're doing this many layoffs, it's going to ripple into that for sure as well. So it just kind of comes with the territory of how big of a part they are now of Microsoft. And so yeah, it sucks for sure. I think also, like, you have the, like, Pong's talking about the trimming of the fat of the industry as well, and I think that's just something that all these game companies are seeing. How are these other games that are costing $500 million less to make, making billions more than our games that cost so much more to make and so many more years and stuff. And uh it's also, I think there's a lot of mismanagement that goes along with a lot of the AAA studios, the AAA publishers. Some of them have done better than others, but we've talked about this numerous times about there's been so many, like, games that get greenlit behind the scenes or prototype games, and they spend like 2 or 3 years working on these things, and they cancel them. They do all these community playtests, focus group stuff, market research things, and try and let that dictate the kind of games that they're going to make, instead of just having a creative vision and making it. That's the difference between a Claire Obscure Expedition 33 and something like Skull and Bones, right?
Yeah.
It's like you have a clear vision, people that know what they want to do. They go in there, they get the tech that's required for the game that they want to make. They make the game, they put it out to the vision that's the best of their ability with the budget that they have, and they put it out there with their heart and soul, and it goes out there, it does crazy numbers, and that's probably going to win Game of the Year, right? As opposed to these other companies that are like, what is the current trend of the market say that most gamers are spending their time engaging in these days? We need to make our version of that. Let's go market research that for a few years and make 10 different prototype games that's gonna potentially fill that hole for us in the market, and see if we can't create it and steal some of those Fortnite players, steal some of those this or that players. Like, fuck that, man. Like, that's not how you should make games. That's not how you should make anything. You should make it for the actual creative vision of what the people that are talented want to make in the first place. And what I hope is that the AAA publishers get their ass in gear and make that happen, because the AA right now for me is leading the charge. Like, if they're leading the charge with creativity and with, like, some of the most amazing games that we've seen this generation.
The other part too, man, that is the success of the older games coming back.
Mm-hmm.
That's gotta tell the devs, right? That you would think at some point that's gotta tell the devs that there is something missing from our games when old games, right? And again, greatness never dies. I've never been that dude. I've never been snobby about it. I can go back and play old games. I can go back and play old games with tank controls or whatever the case be. I'm playing Neverwinter Nights, the first one again with keyboard and mouse, which I'm not a keyboard and mouse guy, but they don't have controller support obviously for that game, but I'm playing it with keyboard and mouse. So I can go back and play those. But the point being is that those old games come back and absolutely look what Oblivion did. Absolutely crush again. And people for the first time playing it are enjoying themselves. That's got to tell the devs, what are we missing here? What is it about modern gaming? And this isn't across the board. This isn't everything. Obviously, there's tons of great games being created. But I'm just saying in general, when we see the success with remasters, right? Coming back and people just going nuts for them and going, holy shit, this is what gaming's about. This is what it is. It's got to tell the devs we are missing something here. Like you said, Matt, it's become in the AAA space, very formulaic. It's become over the top, no, numbers people, statistician, crunching numbers to try to come up, like you said, with, what's the current trend and how can we monetize it? And how can we turn this into a game? Oh, the gamers seem to be loving this, so we're going to put this in there. And it just becomes a lot of the same over and over again. And then you've got the AA and indie scene coming along and spinning out their creative shit, new twists on old styles like Expedition 33, and then you got remasters of old games coming back or remakes of old games coming back with just a new coat of paint, and all of a sudden it's like a fresh game all over again, and people are just absolutely loving it, whether they played it or they didn't play it. That's got to tell your AAA devs that there's something missing out of their games these days. It's changed. It's changed big time.
And then we also
gotta get back to the creative force.
Yeah, it's crazy though, because like for me, like out of the AAA space though, like Microsoft is the one delivering the games I'm most interested in still.
Correct.
Right.
I agree.
So
I agree.
You know, it's going to be fun to see these games come out next year. The Fable, Gears, potentially Halo, rumored now. Forza Horizon 6 is what I'm guessing Phil was alluding to when he said Forza will be there next year. Clockwork Revolution's probably next year as well, which is maybe number 1 on my list now, period.
Amazing.
Perfect Dark be there next year. You know, like there's so much to look forward to, man. And like I mean GTA 6 obviously as well for next year. So like with AAA, like we say all this, but like there's still like, man, there's a lot to look forward to. But it's like
it's not everything.
Yeah.
It's just
there's certain companies that really kind of we started the show talking about Star Wars Outlaws is awesome, and it got downplayed. And that was a AAA game that I think was really good that nobody really gave the time of day. So I don't know, man. It's weird. It's weird. Yeah, but it's been more than that though going on, guys. Since we've been.
Can I ask Fuzzy real quick, man? Can I just sidetrack? Ask Fuzzy. We got Fuzzy here, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Forza. He knows the Turn 10 team and the Playground team very well, right? Just want to ask him real quick. If the rumors are true, now one of the rumors coming out is that Turn 10 is going to be hit hard.
Yeah.
You know, over what happened with Forza this time around. I've actually gone back to, I haven't started playing Forza.
Me too. That's one of the ones I meant to mention at the beginning of the show. I've been playing Forza.
So did I. I totally forgot, but I did. And it's so freaking gorgeous. It's so pretty. Anyway,
it's so good now,
Fuzzy,
dude, too. Like
it is.
Additions. Yeah. God.
Fuzzy, knowing what you know about both teams, and obviously somebody who has followed Forza for a very long time, and you've interacted with those teams, and to the point where they were going to send out a hitman against you if you didn't stop at one time in your life. Knowing those two teams, do you think it's possible? This is just off the cuff, right? Because we've talked about Forza kind of becoming a platform instead of just Forza Motorsport and Forza Horizon being two separate entities, just kind of Forza the platform. Do you think if these cuts do happen, if it is pretty deep into Turn 10, do you see a point where they could just combine the teams into a Forza team and just rotate game development between Motorsport and Horizon, much like they do now, but just make one team between Playground's group and Turn 10, maybe just absorb Turn 10 into Playground at that point? I mean, do you see that as a potential, or are they so different?
I could see some potential in that. It really comes down to what Fable does, because I think since Playground is ramped up, there's ample people available on both sides for Horizon to continue on and be supported, and for Fable to be supported as well. So if Fable does extremely well, I could see them kind of. There really isn't as much redundancy, but I could see them housing it all in one fold kind of thing. But it's hard to say, because I think the big drawback is they almost had like a 343 moment before Forza Motorsport was released. And what I mean by that is they were going through a lot of structural stuff as 7 was wrapped up. They had a real ambitious goal to, kind of cast away everything and start anew. And the timeline just, crept up on them a lot faster than I think they even anticipated. And that's why, even with the delay, it felt like it wasn't, I wouldn't say incomplete, but there were some key things that have been in previous Motorsport that kind of had to wait later with, subsequent updates and things like that, which that kind of put the target on their back. Like, new Microsoft with the extra eyes and scrutiny and a lot of money spent, you can't say, hey, we'll have something in 6 years and 6 years and 2 months, you're not 100%. If you aren't 100%, you're basically on the clock, to get hacked, or not hacked, but axed until the product is at least in a releasable state, and then they can kind of see from there. But I would love for Turn 10 to stay separate, and maybe some of the playground crew that does the Horizon stuff goes over there. But I think what they actually need more so than anything is a little bit more freedom. And I'm probably going to sound like an elitist here. I think they need to listen to more than just their diehard fan base on things that need to be implemented. Like, it may seem like blasphemy to a lot of people with motorsport, but put motorcycles in there at this point. Change some stuff up or add some things that might bring additional people in. Make it so it's more user friendly but still competitive. Allow mods. Like, the thing that keeps a lot of simulator racing games out there alive for decades is modability. Now, I understand why they're so opposed to it, but you can make the online racing aspect, the official servers, non-moddable. You get caught with mods, you're not necessarily banned from the game, but you can't participate in that race. That should be easy enough on a technical side for them to do, but still allow people to have, like, hey, I want to make a true NASCAR sim on the base or the foundation of this game. Yeah, they don't have the sponsors, but if I make the paint schemes in Photoshop or whatever because I exported the designs that are in there and then sideload them back into the game, or basically compile them back into the game, I should be able to do that. And when I log in, not have my account banned, or, hey, you have mods, or you've compiled a file in the exe and you have 10 seconds to remove it, kind of thing. Like, I think even though they're looking at this service model and long-term stuff, they really need to take a step back, look at Assetto Corsa, like the no hesi, like in and out of traffic stuff. Like, you can kind of do a simulated version of that with Horizon with some of the player mods, but allow full-fledged mods. Allow the mod community that plays a lot of the older sim games get a hold of this game and expand that growth of the player base that way, but still have your official servers for, hey, let's all hop on, do a quick race at Daytona, the 24-hour simulation of like the Rolex race.
Yep.
And have at it, but on their official rules. But if I should want to change that to where it's the Mazda MX-5 Cup or something like that, I should be able to go ahead and take that extra effort to paint the cars the way I want, open it up to maybe more than 24 cars and stuff if the server has enough horsepower under the hood, kind of thing. Right. And go from there. But it's tough. I know that there's a lot of passionate people over at Turn 10 as well as at Playground. But sim racing and even arcade racing at this point in time isn't afforded the luxury that maybe an RPG would get, as far as more time to tweak and poke and prod and expand upon certain things or try things different. It's got, like, they're almost on like that deadline where it needs to hit as soon as it's released or you're done. And I hate to say it, they're kind of on borrowed time. We did see some movement as far as leadership there. I don't know if that was the right solution, because if you're gutting the team, you're basically having them work backwards or taking more time to get more of the task that you wanted completed a while ago. It's still going to take them more time if you're gutting them. So it's hard to say. A merger wouldn't be a bad idea, but I think there has to be some other changes that will allow them or afford them more time. Like, if they allow the community to do mods that aren't affecting the racing servers or their official servers, I think that might save them the time in putting as much focus into drifting. And it's not that I have anything against drifting, but I think the mod community can point them in the right direction faster than them doing player tests. Like, that's part of that AAA aspect stuff where it's like, hey, let's test and retest and test. It's like, some stuff you don't even need to test. Some stuff it's cut and dry. Just you know, player suggestions can help, but sometimes it's get the base model of like drag racing, get that out the door, and have it where you have like the light trees and all that stuff. Then work in the tire models, or if you don't already have the tire models in place, which I think they do, um, or the physics for the tire models, so that you have the wrinkling sidewalls and all that stuff, and how that affects the the launch and stuff. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to next week. I have a gut feeling of what's going to happen, and I've talked to people shortly after I forget what update it was, but it was when they added like an official track. I think it was like shortly after Daytona or something. I'm like, yeah, it's going to be any day now before they're either closed or broken up, and yeah, I don't want to hear it or speak that into existence, but
Right.
it's been a long time coming, and it's probably they've been at, I wouldn't say death's door, but like I said, they've been on a hit list internally with the upper management of Microsoft since the delay of that game. So even before they released it, it's like, oh, you need a delay? Okay. How much time? Okay. So 6 more months. All right. So we can lay off in a year and 6 months. That's kind of where it was. So
Crazy to even think about that with Turn 10, with such a quality team that's pumped out one of the greatest. It took the crown, in my opinion, from Gran
Oh, yeah.
Turismo
Yes.
for a lot of years. Like, it's crazy. Like, just to even think about that. Okay.
Yeah, it was
Thanks,
it
Phil.
was kind
I
of
knew you'd have a
strange
good look.
how long it took them to get
Yeah.
Motorsport out after it was announced, or like after we all knew it was gonna be in
Yeah.
with the new tech and everything that they were building and all that stuff. It just kind of seemed like, and it launched, and it launched as an amazing game, but like it was
Mhm.
missing. It had some a little bit issues, and it was missing a lot of stuff. And they've done an amazing job adding things. It's like
It's great.
it like if I'm Microsoft now, I look at what they've created now and I just build upon it and just keep it going, because I think more than anything is like it didn't capture people like a Forza Motorsport usually would at launch, because
Mhm.
of some of the things that was going on around the time, like and some of the technical issues and things like that. And there's a whole discussion of GT looks better, although GT was out a long time before and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Some people thought that. I thought Forza looked better, but personal taste or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it just needs some excitement brought back. Like, and for me, like what I would do, like if I were them, I'm just I'm just making a pitch, um, to Phil or anybody out there who's listening, at Microsoft, right? Don't gut the core talent of the team that is able to produce content quickly. If you were looking at future iteration stuff, hey, you know what I mean? Like, I think you have a platform now where you could just keep building upon this, that for 10 years, 20 years. I don't know. Like, the game looks amazing. You can keep improving it,
Yeah.
updating it, coming out with content. But I think what it's missing is some excitement back from the Forza community and the gaming community, the racing community, about like, get back into this for some reason, right? And they've done some with some updates, like, hey, new track, new cars like this, but like I'm talking about like a relaunch. Like, we've seen games do this before, where you have like 2.0s or whatever, and it doesn't have to necessarily go that far
Mhm.
as in like calling it a failure, because I don't think it was, right? I think it's a great game, but like,
Yeah.
hey, talk about a massive expansion or something coming to Forza Motorsport. Release that in the next couple years. You already got the tech built. You already got all the pipeline stuff going on. Build up a massive kind of overhaul amount of content for it. Promote the heck out of it. Show it at a game showcase. Do all these other kind of things, and then launch it as a free update for Forza Motorsport. But like, treat it like a new game, you know. And I think that would bring a shit ton of people into motorsport and realize how fucking amazing it is now. I
Mhm.
have tons of ideas for the kinds of content that I would like them to add to it. Because the racing is there, the cars are
Yeah.
there. it's the outside experience. It's like bringing everything together to create the old school feel of Forza, where it had this real community feel around it. Everything's kind of gotten a little sterile with all of that stuff, like a little bit soulless when you're in the menus and all of those kind of things. It kind of feels like where this is serious. This is select what you want to do and do it. You know, I want some fucking vibes when I go into that, and I like, you know what I mean. I've been watching like shows on TV and stuff lately, like car shows and stuff. Just like I want that, like something like that energy pumped into the game somehow, and it's missing. It's missing that, right? And like that's something that Gran Turismo does really well because it oozes like character with the jazz music. You got the scapes, you got the whole community aspect of the sharing of everything and how good it looks and works on there. And you go to the Forza menus, like gray boxes, you just go down and click and then go into a race, and it's kind of missing like a little bit of heart around that aspect of it. Somehow bring the community bring the community things into the forefront of the game again, and not hidden behind a whole separate thing. Bring it to the forefront, blast our eyes with cars that other people made without us fucking choosing to see it. You know what I mean? Like, do stuff to tie the whole community together and revitalize the fucking game because it's amazing. You just need to bring people to it. So I don't know. That's my pitch to Xbox, Microsoft. Relaunch or whatever you want to call it. Massive expansion overhaul thing that you promote, like Forza Motorsport re-engaged or some bullshit like that. I don't know. Like and bring it out as like as a thing. Don't lay off the core talent because you have a platform there that is probably the best racing, like physics based and handling and the way the cars look and everything on track like I've ever played. And I would hate to see that just like, hey, this is what we were able to accomplish and we're done with it now. Get little updates and car packs here from here on out, and who knows if we'll ever get another motorsport again. No, you got something there. You just need to you need to like show people again, because your little update Forza monthly things that's only going to attract the most diehard enthusiasts like Fuzzy and stuff aren't paying attention to that shit. Right? You need to go out there and promote the hell out of this game because it is a platform. Fucking platform. Bring people to it. Anyway.
I think that's where if they ease up a bit, allow some mod support, I think you can have a community that, like ultimately, like kind of like what you're saying as far as bringing that car enthusiast aspect to it, or car culture into the game. Make it where you can have almost like a festival weekend, not making it Horizon, but hear me out. You have tracks that some of them have like the road course or an oval, and they have a drag strip inside of it as well. Bring back car meets. People love seeing paint schemes. People love hearing about different tunes, different tweaks as far as like tire compounds versus, springs and struts and stuff like that. Have it where, you could start by just racing at the, drag strip. Maybe you put money up. Maybe they can bring that gambling aspect into it. Not real money, obviously, but like in-game currency or something. I don't know if you want to go as far as bring, exchanging pink slips or anything like that, but have it where, okay, like electric cars are a big thing, and there's still people that are diehard gas heads as well. Have the Tesla Plaids versus the the Dodge Demon races. Have that new ZR1X out there, part electric, part gas out there racing some of the Bugattis and uber expensive Ferraris out there. Make it a showing. It's like, not saying like East Coast versus West Coast, but you can have muscle car versus import and tuner. You can have the European versus American, because there's a lot of badass sedans between BMW, Audi, and Mercedes. And Chargers still can hold their own. It's a little bit of tuning, and as far as from a speed standpoint, obviously they're not going to match the luxury, but you know the game is about racing. Bring that focus and that energy as far as people wanting to build the car that they love and race it, show it off, have it where you can have those types of events. And if it makes you a little extra money so you can get some extra parts for your car, so be it. I think it's not as bad as what GT7 does, where they want you to feel like you've earned your car. And it's like, I don't want to pay $20 for a $2 million car in game. And I shouldn't have to struggle to earn $2 million after 8 hours of playing. Like that shouldn't be an issue. But in some cases, they want you to earn every dollar in game so you feel like you've earned these $20 million cars. Like, no, this is why we have this simulation. It's not to base it in as much reality, because otherwise, well, then we're all kind of struggling to get these cars in real life. Why make the game that much of a struggle? But yeah, open it up to the community. Keep your racing servers for the whether it's trophy related or esports related and stuff like that. Have their primary servers unmodded, but allow mods, because the dipping and dodging out of traffic, the mixed class racing, although you can do mixed class, but it's kind of limited, and their tools aren't quite functioning the way they should, where you can have GT3, GT4, and maybe smaller not SUVs, but like smaller sedans and things like that all race at the same time, where you have prototypes GT3 and GT4 cars on the track like you see at Rolex or any of the IMSA races. Make it so that way it's easy enough to get the paint schemes that you want on each one of the cars. It's easy enough to track trophies or even championships, like that one other racing game that's coming up now. Not sure how well it's going to do, but they're talking racers language when it comes to how you can engage a championship or engage the career mode, whether you have to go out there and earn your sponsors, or you pick certain sponsors and then your payouts are based on their company policy. You win the race, you get an extra bonus. You finish in the top 3, you get an extra bonus. You finish outside the top 10, you got only about a couple of mulligans before you might be traded to a lesser team, kind of thing. So stuff like that might even help. Always look at what their competitors are doing. There's a lot of cases they're just not quite on the same par as what Forza has been, but they can definitely see about integrating that stuff, or at least allowing the mod community to attempt those integrations. And if something sticks or flies really well, then make that a standard thing for the game moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, let's keep it going, man. Like, it's just amazing game. I hate when I saw Turn 10 listed as like, oh man, I want to see motorsport get a lot of support and thrive and get updates and get more awesome.
Yes.
So hopefully that's the case. But man, this whole rumors of the layoffs that are impending and stuff. I mean, it's the rumors, but it's gonna happen, right? But besides that, actually, been a lot of positive stuff going on around Xbox since we've been gone. And I don't really think this news that we just impending news really has much of an impact on the future that we actually saw and what they've announced, right? I mean, for individual studios, for things and streamlining, whatever they ended up doing, like there's a lot to be excited about with Xbox coming up. And I was loving the energy that I was seeing in the community. And it was kind of weird, because it was like when Xbox made that announcement with AMD, right? And they talked about, hey, we're making next generation hardware, we're making consoles, we're doing this, we're bringing the ecosystem everywhere. You're gonna, and not just one storefront is going to be accessible on the devices, and all these kind of things. It like kind of solidified all these rumors that were going around for a year and a half, 2 years for about PC hybrid, Xbox is the future, right? Um, we had so much doom and gloom in the community about Xbox going third party, and then all of a sudden, it was like after that announcement, it was like a lot of people in the community, all of a sudden had the light bulb turn on of the stuff that we've been talking about for over a year, when everybody was dooming and glooming and everything, and we were talking about, well, if you look at it like this, and if you actually think about what they're doing, and if they actually do the PC hybrid thing and all these things, man, that's kind of like a future that sounds pretty awesome for a gamer, doesn't it? And we had a lot of back and forth with people in the community and in the chats at times about all that doom and gloom stuff, but it was interesting for at least a moment in time until the layoff rumors happened, and that there was like this light bulb of excitement started chiming in with the gamers about Xbox again. And I saw several posts about, wow, I'm actually getting energized and excited about Xbox again because this is awesome, right? And you still see sprinklings like of that, because I saw like Tom Warren today made a post, and some others, about how on the Xbox PC app and Steam games are starting to show up for some people and stuff like that. So like from the Xbox app, you're going to be able to launch. I think they were launching some PlayStation games right from the launcher, testing it out already. And it's pretty crazy to think about actually going and buying a console type device that's made by Xbox or a third party company as well, that launches into that Xbox launcher, and you have this console like experience that they confirmed again will be compatible with your existing console library. Be able to launch all these games from all your storefronts. So yeah, that seems pretty fucking cool to me. And if you go also with the other rumors going on around this, the Ally has already been a thing that's been announced, right? Some people's allies are already getting behind the scenes kind of updates as well, the ones that are already out, starting to get some kind of updates that are kind of hinting at what's going to be happening on their devices. Plus also, if you go the timeline wise, it looks like maybe a year from now, we could be in the months lead up to a launch of next gen hardware for Xbox. And wow, that pales a lot of comparison to all the doom and gloom shit that was going on for a long time about the brand and about the ecosystem. Not only that, with all the games we have to look forward to as well. But man, confirming for me, I don't know about you guys, but there was two main takeaways from the announcement. Was multiple storefronts were confirmed, and also existing console library, digital library, was going to be compatible on these devices. Those were the two boxes they needed to check in order to really kind of create this vision that we all talked about for over a year. And they pretty bluntly said it was going to happen. So I'm just curious, Pong, how does that excite you as a gamer? Like day one console hybrid PC device, or are you gonna stick old school and just playing your Series X for a couple years?
No.
I mean, it's gonna be expensive too.
It's gonna be expensive as hell. And I don't. Again, people are hoping and wishing it's not going to be. I believe it's going to be. Now there might be other manufacturers who make something cheaper, right? That is a little bit less powerful. But I think Xbox is going to go for the enthusiasts. There might be something from a third party that's more expensive, that's more powerful. I've said from the beginning, Mav, when we started talking about this, and again, we don't toot our horns as much as other places do. And we probably should, because we've been wrong about a lot of shit. We always admit when we're wrong. But man, oh man, we've started talking about this a long ass time ago, that this could be the vision. When they started kind of evolving, right? And we didn't even know the full scope of what it was going to look like this generation, but just kind of looking ahead when we were a couple years ago to what it could possibly turn into. We started talking about this potentiality, right? That this
Well,
is what they were going to go
I'll give
for.
you credit also, Pong,
Yeah.
because when originally we were talking about possibilities of mid-gen upgrades, right?
Mhm.
And PS5 Pro had it announced theirs, but we didn't, and then the Xbox confirmed that they weren't doing one, right?
Right.
You were like the first one I actually can recall hearing saying, "I think this is Xbox is going to go early." And 2026 is pretty
That was my
early.
guess.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that was my guess. That was my guess but that had to do also with what we were talking about, which was what we're talking about happening right now. It's becoming a reality.
Right.
And like I said at the time, if Xbox is going to, because again, they were evolving, they were changing it to what they were changing, and this gen didn't go how they originally planned it to go. So what I said all along was, if you're going to go into next gen and you're going to break you've got the opportunity to break all the rules. You got to make something compelling. And that was my whole
Yeah.
argument to all of this stuff, was that you got to make something compelling. You can't come with the same strategy. It's not going to work. Okay. Especially if you're not going to hold exclusives. Right. And we didn't know at the time that they were going to go. This is before they even started the whole kind of switch over to becoming a full third party publisher. But like we were talking about, if you're not going to hold all the exclusives, if you're not going to take ABK and wrap it up in house, and you're going to keep all, well, what are you going to do to get people to maybe consider adding your box? Well, you got to do something completely different. And then once they did announce kind of how they were going forward, and we all just were on the page of, hey guys, it's not going to be just 4 games. Like, they're going, like, this is the start, right? We're going to see it all. Then our conversation switched to, okay, well, now how are you going to convince people? Well, you convince people by, again, having a box that does something that no other box is doing. But more than that, Mav, having an ecosystem and a UI, ultimately, that does something that no other place is going to offer you. And that includes Steam, that includes Nintendo, that includes PlayStation. What is that, Mav? This idea that you take your game, whatever you're playing, one copy across all devices, no matter what it is, and your save and your play and everything is just there. And that's what we started talking about a long ass time ago. And this is exactly what it feels like they are shooting for, or what they've talked about now, is having one game follow you, and you have access to that game, whether you're playing on a phone, whether you're playing on a TV, whether you're playing on a dongle, whether you're playing on a handheld PC, like a Steam Deck, whether you're playing on that, Xbox Asus ROG LIX, whether you're playing on a Series X, or whether you're playing on their new console or on PC. It comes with you, and it's right there. That is something nobody else is offering. This is something in the background that they've been working on. This goes into the Play Anywhere that you and I and so many others on the Fun Spec family have been promoting and talking about. And yes, there's a lot still to work out. There's a lot of ironing to do. We don't know what it's going to look like. We don't know what to extent they're going to actually get all of this to work, but this is what they're shooting for. So when they announced this device map, and when we started talking about this originally, I said, if they do this, me as a console player, if they create a device, a box that acts like a PC, where I can access all the different storefronts and I have access to all my games, but they make it as convenient as a console is now, where I don't have to mess with a whole lot of shit, even though I have a PC, a more than capable PC, I would still invest in that box, because I still, to this day, still play more on my Series X than I do on my PC. Now, that's changing depending on the games, because there's a lot of games on PC that I can't obviously have on my Xbox. But the point of fact is still playing more on my Xbox. Why? Because even though the PC is hooked up to my TV, even though it's really not in the grand scheme of things that much fiddling around, it's still not the same as coming home from work, plopping my ass down when I only have an hour, 2 hours max to play before bed, and I just want to power on the button. My games are there. I click one button, I'm in my game, and I'm rocking and rolling. It's still not as convenient as that. So if they can do this, Mav, if they can pull this off, I'm absolutely in. Of course, I'm bought in. I told you I'm going to ride this till the wheels fall off. This is not an Xbox fanboy thing. This is saying, once again, that Xbox, for me as a gamer, gives me more value than anybody else in the industry. And if they pull this off, Mav, even though I'm not playing games on my phone per se, even though I'm not playing games on a handheld right now at this moment, right? Maybe down the line that changes. To have an ecosystem that I just know if something does change, or if I decide to go somewhere else, or even if I'm playing between my PC and console, just like now how it works, but they make it even more seamless where I could just access all my games. And on top of that, I'm going to be able to have all my games in my Steam store, all my games in my GOG store, all my games in my Epic store, just work on that box like a PC. And it's
Yeah,
right there.
and they'll
And
actually all be in the Xbox launcher.
all right.
Like,
They'll all be in the launcher, which makes it convenient, Mav, And then you're telling me that Xbox is going to try to pull this off where I only have to buy one copy of the game and I can play it. Yes, I'm going to buy this device. I will invest in this device, even if it's expensive, even if it is enthusiast. Again, if I'm at a bad spot, I'm not going to mortgage my future to go buy this box. But let's just say things are still going pretty damn good and I'm okay. I will definitely make sure I have this box. This is why I think people are excited. Now, there's some console war to this. There's still some Xbox fanboys out here that want to get back at PlayStation. Fanboys are going to laugh because you get to play PlayStation games, right? On these devices that are now able to access Steam and all that kind of stuff. That's totally cool. There's some of that excitement to this as well, but there is genuine excitement, like you were talking about, Mav, from us as gamers and these guys out here who still don't understand why we would ever reinvest in Xbox after this generation, or why we even invest in Xbox now. I can't explain it to you any other way other than the value that they give me is second to none. And as of this moment, that is not changing. It is only expanding. Even if Game Pass does go up, which I'm expecting it to go up, they are still, for me as the gamer I am, giving me more value than anybody else. Hands down, it's not even fucking close.
Just look at the amount of games they launched this year that are all in Game
Correct.
Pass already.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And you got access on your
Correct.
PC and on your console
Right.
to all those games. It's seamless,
I can't explain
right?
it any different. So yes, I will invest into Xbox yet again. I absolutely freaking will. I will continue to invest in Xbox. If a game has Xbox Play Anywhere, Mav, I am buying it from the Windows Store or the Xbox Store so that I have access to it everywhere. People can say all they want. They can hate on it. They can say, oh, I'm just going to go buy it. I totally get it. That's fine. They're Steam fanboys that never will buy anywhere else. I get it. PC people are very particular. That's fine. For me, I don't give two shits. I have a huge library on GOG now. I have a huge library on Epic from all the free freaking games that they give. And I have a huge ass library on Steam. So I am going to go someplace that gives me access to all of those. And if that's what Xbox is moving forward to in the future, whether it makes sense for them or not, and people just can't wrap their heads around why they would do this, I don't care. I don't care what Xbox, $1 trillion company, Microsoft, $1 trillion company, decides to do or offer their Xbox players, or how they think they're going to go about this. Until the wheels fall off, I will be here because me as a consumer, I am getting the most value, hands down, for my dollars. There is no second guessing that whatsoever.
Yeah, it's like people are making decisions over worried about the company instead of
Right.
like worrying about themselves, right? And that's the one thing that's I never really understood. To me, is like it's like you want to root for the winner of the console space or something. And
I've always said it. There's no trophy, Mav. This isn't like
it's
sports. Even there's no trophy.
It's like I just look at what games I want to play and how much I have to pay for them and the access that I have to them, and that's how you make your decisions, right? Like it's really an easy decision. Like it's just naturally I gravitate towards that, like how to spend my time gaming, like because my progress, like I've been using the cloud still, and my progress just goes everywhere I am, right? So it just makes sense. Now another lot of gamers may only play in one place, right? You know, play on one TV, you only play on one screen, and you only have one device, or you only use one storefront. And if that works for you, cool, right? That's your prerogative, and everybody's going to choose the value that they see the best. But for me, like you said, Pong, it's like, holy shit, I get all these fucking games in Game Pass. Like, that includes online stuff, and includes the cloud stuff. And also, now you're talking about I'm going to have a fucking box that acts as a console, but it's actually going to give me all this other shit too, like I'm getting on the PC now. Like, yeah,
and they're talking about upgrading, Matt, for your cloud experience, right? You're already getting good at cloud experience, and you've talked about this.
Oh, yeah,
but they're talking about now upgrading that. They want to compete with GeForce Now. They want to get to that point, which all I've heard from most people is it's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
So they're going to continue to upgrade that. And then I didn't even mention on top of it too, Mav, and I'll let you take it back over. But again, I see Microsoft, who just invested heavily into AI, like AI or hate AI or be somewhere in the middle. I don't care what your opinion is. It is a tech that could be highly beneficial to what Microsoft is trying to do. It could produce results in the gaming sector that we're not even thinking of. And Microsoft, more than any one of these game companies, has invested in AI, and they're going to drop that shit into that new box too. And they're going to continue to put that out there. So what we get in that box could be well beyond anything anybody else can do. PS6, Nintendo, it doesn't matter who we're talking about. I just really think there's a lot of benefits to continue to invest in Xbox. That's all.
Yeah, it was what I was talking about beforehand when everybody was doom and gloom. I was talking about the access to your content and stuff. And it's like, in a digital age, which, like, everybody's like, I want things to go back to that, like it was in the 8-bit era. I want the whole game to be on my cartridge. I want to be able to just shove it in my machine.
I would love it.
And then that's it. You know, that'd be so cool. Yeah, but we'd all be playing fucking old looking retro style games. Like, they can't fit these massive online experience things that we're all fucking spending time playing in things like that. It just doesn't work. Like, gaming has gotten so massive. Imagine like GTA 6, right? Like, the amount of hype, and this is gonna be the biggest game ever. They're not gonna fucking put GTA 6 on this little fucking cartridge thing in a little box, and it's only physical. Like, it's just not in the realm of possibility. Like, things evolve, technology evolves. Cool, it's fun to have those old school experiences and the nostalgia for the old days, right? But could you imagine gaming without online? Like, it would suck ass. Imagine games not ever getting all these massive free updates that we get. Like, these old games that we're playing that get free updates, like Dying Light just talked about, hey, if you own Dying Light 1, hey, it's getting a massive free overhaul and free update for anybody that owns the first Dying Light. Like, imagine that, getting all of that, all these awesome updates to our existing libraries and games. Like, that would suck ass, man. And like, with digital gaming, like the digital library, do you want that shit to be locked into one fucking box that's on one TV? Or do you want to be able to take it wherever you are and access your content wherever you are? Now, let me think about this. Hey, what about a subscription service that actually gives you access to all those games so you don't have to pay $70, $80 for all of them too? Hey, let's do that. Okay, I'm down. Right? Now, these are industry changing things, right? Changing things. People freak out over change. People freak out. No, we can't have this. It's going to make Microsoft and Xbox is going to go bankrupt. Xbox is going to get out of the hardware space. They're going to stop making my thing. They're going to stop it. Fuck, man. Give me access to all of the fucking games that they're making in all of the places. And if you're telling me now that you're also going to give me access to everybody else's fucking games, yes, please. Thank you very much. That's what I want. That's what I want. Thank you. All right. Also, hey, shout out to the chat. You guys have been rocking and rolling. We got Adidas 20 member for 8 months. Appreciate you, Adidas. Says, welcome back and salute to all. Salute to you, sir. Razor Ultron joined the speculation train as well. Shout out to Razor Ultron. Choo choo to you, sir. Then we got Dr. Dingle Nut himself, the one and only Dr. Dingle Nut. I'm emphasizing the nut. Sent 5 fun speculation gifteds. I appreciate it, Mr. Dingle Nut. You're absolutely amazing. Choo-choo motherfuckers. Rob C with a $5 super chat. Rob C, you're absolutely awesome. And he didn't type anything in that super chat. So then I think he did it again and said, oops, I fucked up. I want to make sure my words are heard. So Rob C came out with another 5. You could have just told me what you wanted to say, but I appreciate it anyway. Because Xbox is killing it. Hey, Rob, we're the ones that are like getting all of the goodies from them spending all this money, doing all these services and all this stuff. And we're us, the gamers, we're fucking just eating good right now. I mean, like, I know all the layoffs, all these other kind of things are happening. Like, fuck. Hey, I got lots of games to look forward to. I know I'm set. I know I got devices to look forward to, games to look forward to. As a gamer, I'm fucking set. Razor Ultron with the $2 super chat says, last Xbox gen, all games forward compatible like on PC. That should be the promise forever for every gaming device that ever launches for any platform, any ecosystem. Your library of digital games should go forward with you. So what we talk about, forward compatibility, has been a thing I've talked about for a while. That if you buy a digital, imagine this in movies and music. If you bought a fucking song or you had a subscription that was only tied to the one fucking device, that would be so fucking stupid. That would be so stupid, wouldn't it? That would be stupid. Imagine it with music and movies. Why is it bad if it's games? Why is it bad that games should give us more access? Imagine that with music and movies. Man, that would suck. Hey, you got to go get a different subscription on that other device because it's a different ecosystem. So you can't use Spotify on the iPhone. You have to use Apple's music platform on that. Yeah, no, that would suck. That would suck. Anyway, yeah, appreciate it, chat. You guys rock. Fuzzy Belvedere, are you excited about the multiple storefronts and the full back compat confirmed?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, I think the biggest thing, kind of like what Ponga touched on, as far as the PC, it's not as, I wouldn't say it's not as easy to use, but it is a little bit more cumbersome as far as if you just want to get right into the game. The Steam Deck and their OS is, kind of disguised the PC in this handheld, being almost like a handheld console. And I knew once they got their foothold on these handhelds that it was only a matter of time before they would consider expanding that to PCs as well. And we've had a few people in the community basically turn their PC into like a console-like experience using big picture mode and stuff. So I'm glad Xbox is doing what they're doing as far as, one, integrating other libraries. A lot of us have a lot of free games with Epic. I have a pretty decent collection over at Steam. I got, like under 50 games over at GOG, but having it where I can just have a device that has access to all of them and not have to be something where I have to figure out how the side loaded or go through like a bunch of menus and have to use a keyboard and mouse with the console to get it to work. Them making this UI that much more simpler as far as knowing where all your games are from previous gen to current gen, as well as different stores, is probably the best thing moving forward when it comes to gaming. And when you're using the example of like phones and stuff like that, it would be silly, like for music or movies where, oh, I bought a JVC. Well, you can't play Sony movies on that JVC. You have to play them on a Sony DVD player or Blu-ray. That would be ridiculous. But we accept that with video games because that's kind of been, the tradition for eons. But having it where you can buy one device, have access to all of your stuff in that one device, kind of like the way your cell phone is now. You can play your MP4s on pretty much any cell phone that's been made in the past probably 20 years at this point. You can play your MP3s on those same phones. You can do various streaming through browsers. You can have various browsers on that phone. So, I mean, yes, there is only the Play Store on Google phones, unless, or like the Pixel phones, like I'd like to get, but like Samsung has its own store on their phones. But you can pretty much sideload that content. But that's what all those court cases in the EU have been about, as far as like kind of breaking that closed ecosystem that Apple has been, I guess, enjoying for years. And the same thing with Google to some extent, and making it so you're not having to pay one source with no competition in that space all of your money to access stuff that you should already either one have access to because you already own it elsewhere, or a place where they can, I guess, inflate the pricing whenever they choose to, kind of thing, because you're locked in that ecosystem. So having it where a more open platform, kind of, I wouldn't say it keeps them honest, but it definitely keeps things interesting. And they can't just be like, oh, well, we're going to price gouge you. Well, then I won't buy from you. I'll buy from Steam then. And I know there's a few influential influencers out there worried about how Microsoft is going to make their money with Steam being accessible. And it, like, I don't care. I have Game Pass until 2028. I'm not worried about them making money. They're a $1 trillion company. Me getting it through Microsoft rewards points, I don't think is going to bankrupt them. Now, if a billion of us did it that way, maybe they would have something to say about it, but that would be for them to take that initiative at that point. But I'm not worried about them making money with Steam being on a device. I'm still going to buy from Steam. I'm still going to buy from Xbox. I'm still going to get my free games from Epic. If anything, people should be worried about how is Epic going to make money other than their, occasional exclusive on things like Alan Wake or whatever. Like, in all seriousness, sometimes their portfolio is showing that they're only making money from their game engine and not their stores. So why isn't anybody showing real concern about that? I don't hear the outcries for them. Oh, they might go bankrupt. Oh, they'll just be an engine company as opposed to, a PC storefront. But, nonsense breeds nonsense. People want to worry about Xbox until, the next big doom and gloom story. And then they'll be like, oh, see, we told you Xbox is getting out of the business. Well, they just made the announcement for the next gen consoles, the partnership with AMD. And they're looking to make it easier for us gamers to, access all of our games on that device. Now, we'll see how the, console stuff works on the handheld that they're partnered up with Asus and stuff like that. But I have full confidence by the time the next box comes out, hopefully, holiday 26, they'll have all of that console stuff figured out. I figure at least on the first party, that will be an easy thing. To expand the Play Anywhere on all their first party older titles and maybe even some of their partnered ones for things like Rise Son of Rome that they did with Crytek, and maybe Dead Rising 3 with Capcom and such. But considering how many Play Anywhere titles are from some of those studios already on Xbox, the only thing I really want from them now leading up to that next gen console is the filter on the my library on the console where I can see all of the Play Anywhere titles. Like, you can do that in the store now. You can't really do it on Game Pass. So to have that filter on Game Pass and on my library will give me that confidence knowing, because I don't feel like looking through the store and be like, well, yeah, I did buy that one. Well, I didn't buy that version of the game. Well, I got the definitive edition of Witcher. Does that include that? And yeah, I'd just rather see of the 600 plus games I have in my library, 300 and some of them are Play Anywhere that I have already. Good. Then I know all of those will be ready as soon as I get my Xbox Ally X. And then when the next console comes out, those will be the ones I can pick and choose to load from and moving forward. Decide if I want to keep my Series X for any of the earlier stuff. But in the grand scheme of things, I like what they're doing. I don't know why people are like, oh, it's not a console. Like, does it matter? Does it play some of the titles that you can play on your console? Does it not look and have the ease of use of a console? That's good enough for me. I don't know. I try to focus more so on the games as opposed to the technicality stuff of it, but it is what it is. Definitely looking forward to what they're doing, this next gen. And hey, that handheld, hopefully it's not 1,000, but if it's 800 to 900, it might be under the tree or something like that. But it's 1,000. I might have to wait, or just save a little extra. Start saving a little extra now if I can.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be expensive for sure. But yeah, it's like a lot of people are talking about how well Xbox getting out of the console space because they're going PC, right? Like, what is at the end of the day when you look at it, like consoles are pretty much PCs now. They're just like locked PCs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like there's some stuff stripped away, and it's just like, hey, we're only allowing this to happen on this device, right? And for me, it's like if you could have the, like Pong said, the accessibility and the ease of use, and okay, you have a box, turn it on, and it shows Xbox, and you have all the same features that you have with a console today. You have your party chat, you have your friends list, you have your storefront, you have all that other stuff. Like, what makes a console a console? Is it only the fact that it's locked away and to not allowing you to do other things? Is that what makes it special? Is that it doesn't allow you to do the other things? Now, if they
It's the
can
optimization, Mav. It's the
optimize, well,
optimization that they
fuck,
put in the game.
yeah. Well, that
Yeah,
let's
that's
get into optimization this generation. Yeah.
no,
Oh,
only the
hey.
consoles can do certain things, Mav. It's special.
Yeah, and apparently
God.
Hellblade 2 could only do 60 frames on Series X when they announced it for the PlayStation 5 Pro. Or
And that's
they
one
only,
benefit for all
only
these people.
wanted to. Let me rephrase that. They only
They won't
wanted to do it until they
Yeah.
put the PS5 Pro version out. Now that the Series X.
I
Anyway.
think that's shitty, but that's a
Yeah.
whole different topic. But if Xbox is just going to be truly a PC, like these guys are saying, it's going to play the PC version, we'll never have to worry about that again. If you own the Xbox, it'll play 60 frames all the fucking time. So that's going to be minimum. If it's
You'll
a
be
PC,
able to
it's playing the
choose your
PC version.
settings.
You'll be able
Oh
to
my
choose your settings, yeah.
gosh.
Well, no, and the other thing, real quick, Bev, to add to all this is too, this isn't just about Xbox, right? What Microsoft is doing with the UI, they're going to put that shit on PC. So my other point was going to be too, my PC is going to become easier to use for gaming.
Yeah.
And as I've heard
Yeah.
people talk about, and Steele's brought this up too. If you want to build a truly, Steele, I think it was talked about last week on Limited Split Screen. From now on, when people say, "Oh, I just want a gaming PC," if Microsoft pulls this off, if Xbox pulls off this whole trimmed down, gutted Windows with the Xbox UI overlaid on top, or however all this, again, I'm not the tech dude that works, but I kind of understand the basics. But if they pull this off and this becomes like this very convenient, easy app or UI to use, and they put that everywhere, you will legitimately be able to build just a gaming PC because you're going to have the option to use that UI that's going to turn it into basically a console type experience, but on a PC, a real PC. I'm not talking about whatever they're going to do hybrid wise. And you're still going to have access to all your stores, just like you're going to have that on the box that they make for next gen. That's going to be incredible too, on top of it. That I can just have my PC go into this mode and all of a sudden it's just the same as my Xbox console.
Absolutely. I wonder if you could do that to where it's like, does that on one monitor automatically, and then the other monitor stays the PC. That'd be really cool. Right?
Your Excel spreadsheets on one and gaming on the other.
Yeah, just like boot up automatically on Xbox mode, and that'd be fucking great. I don't know if you guys saw, but there was I saw in the camera as we were talking on Discord, fucking spider walking down the wall. I took my coaster here and like I smashed it, and then I tried to pick it up, but it left guts everywhere. So now there's
Why'd you kill it?
Because I didn't want it to bite me.
Outside. You let it outside. It kills bugs, bro.
It is a bug.
It kills other bugs that are worse than it.
It was a good sized spider, man. I don't know what kind of spider that is right there, but it was too close to me. And if it's within range of jumping on me, it deserves to die.
Oh my god! All right, okay.
I agree with you, Mav. As long as if they stay in their lane, I'm not going to charge them rent. But the minute they come near me, it's either rent or die. Like plain and simple. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's just me.
Yeah, I don't do spiders. I don't do snakes. I yeah, those are like my two things. Scorpions too. Sometimes we
Okay,
get
well,
scorpions.
yeah.
So kill a scorpion, but not a spider.
If I Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know because I've never encountered a scorpion. So again, if I move south, then yeah, I might have to deal with some of the extra shit that comes along with that, like scorpions, but we'll see when I get there. I probably would save the scorpion.
Yeah, I would
We
rather
get Black
save.
Widow spiders out this way.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
we never. I don't like. I ain't gonna get up close to that. What kind of spider are you? No, if you fucking have a
You
chance
capture it.
to put
You
one of
capture
us
it. You
in the
just throw it
hospital,
outside.
you're gonna die.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Killer.
Yeah, I know. I don't kill lizards. I'll
That's
put
good.
them out. Yeah,
I like the lizards.
I capture them, put them outside.
Yeah. They're cute.
Well, all
I
right.
like those guys.
Yeah. What else we got? What else happened since we've been gone? We had. I mean, should we talk about the AMD aspect of this, or is that boring?
Not boring because I mean we've already got most of it. I mean, it just sounds like they're again. It always sounds exciting when they announce these partnerships, right? Again, a lot of this shit is buzzwords.
Yeah.
A lot of this shit never comes to anything that we ever see. Like again, like go back to the launch of Series X and PS5. Okay, there was a lot of shit that never really turned out to do anything, right? So I always take these things with a grain of salt. I just think the announcement itself was big enough to say that this is a heavy investment on both
Right.
sides again, and there is going to be some custom stuff that comes out of this. And I think that's what, Lisa Lou's, I think that's her name, Lisa Lou. What her kind of talk was about was that they're really kind of pushing forward. And again, a lot of it's going to center around AI, folks. It's just going to be a thing, all right? But the customized chips and the stuff that they're working on, that does get me excited because that could differentiate, like I said, with the box itself from what others are going to be able to do because Xbox and Microsoft specifically do invest heavily in this shit. So I think overall, that's just kind of what I got out of it was, yeah, no, this is they're not going to back out of this one. A lot of people were saying, oh, there's still time for them to back out of this one. Nah, I think we're going to see at least for the first round of next gen, right? We're going to see Xbox have their own box. Now, whether or not third parties jump in, I think is the bigger question, Mav. I think we're all kind of expecting that we are going to see third parties take whatever Xbox does, and Xbox is going to allow them to make their own versions with custom chipsets, much like PCs or whatever the case may be, but kind of the same setup. I think that could happen as the gen move forwards because Sarah Bond said Xboxes. Again, she did use plural when she made her announcement, right? Which was interesting.
So, what do we think that means, though? Like, because the rumors were that they're kind of put their own handheld on the back burner a little bit, and they have their own console-ish thing coming out. So are we getting multiple power tiered systems again? I would kind of make sense with that style, like, hey, how beefy do you want your setup to be, right? Like,
How much AI crutching do you want in your setup? How much
right.
upscaling do you want versus
Yeah.
running? Yeah, I think there could be some of that. Again, we're going to be moving into PC territory, so I think there could be that too. I thought it was interesting that she said it plural, though. I did. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think there could be two price points.
What about
Memory.
it? What if there was like what if they launch with third-party partners launching their own devices at the same time?
Too. It could.
Because like they consider everything in Xbox now that can play X. If it has access to all the features that you have with Xbox,
All the rules are off.
then
all the rules are
like
gone.
it's Xbox, right? So yeah, you could see this launch where you have like an Asus box that you put on your TV, right? As well, or maybe fucking Lenovo or Dell or whatever, who knows?
Alienware, Xbox.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And then you'll be able to
overpriced. Let's go.
You'll be able to pay them off at Verizon stores. That'll be a thing. They do that now, I think, with some devices. Like, But is
Yeah.
there anything like I'm gonna read this. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's last name. Jack Huynh. 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 Jack. I just call him Jack from AMD. He was the guy in the Xbox like announcement thing, right?
Mhm.
Big vision, bold partnership, and we're just getting started. What if the boundaries between player and experience disappeared? It looks stunning. It responds to you. It goes with you. And it remembers where you left off, no matter where you play. In this next chapter with the Xbox, we're not just pushing pixels, we're reimagining what's possible when silicone, software, and AI come together, unlocking new levels of fidelity, fluidity, and freedom. All with one goal: bringing players closer to the game. What a speech, Fuzzy. Doesn't that sound nice? I don't know what any
Yeah.
of that means
Ma-
in reality, but what do you think the AMD side of this is like? Obviously, I mean, they're making the GPUs and shit, but
Right.
like beyond that, like, is there anything to that partnership?
Well, one of the things, getting back to the Xbox handheld, a lot of people said that the Lockhart. Remember when Project Scarlet was first announced, and it was supposed to be two devices? A lot of people said Lockhart was, shelved or discontinued. They're not releasing it, and lo and behold, the Series S was released. So I haven't really uh, put aside the idea of them still releasing a handheld, but giving ROG or Asus enough time for their handheld to kind of see how well it does in the market. It'd be kind of backstabby to release your handheld immediately after, kind of thing. But I no, I think there might still be the potential of a handheld. But as far as like the stuff that Jack was talking about, I think some of the big things that people underestimate or overlook, and yeah, some of it sounded like buzz speak at the beginning of this generation, but quick resume is still that you know underappreciated uh, software thing that our consoles can do, the series consoles can do. And I remember hearing talk before that for Windows 12, and I know we haven't even finished off with Windows 11, and Windows 10 still has support for at least for now. Uh, One of the things that was supposed to be baked into Windows 12 was a quick resume for PC. So if they're able to do it with the new AI chips from AMD, if they somehow integrate that where you can do virtual machine versions of your instances of games, then that's going to be game changing, not just for the Xbox going into the next generation, but any AMD chipped device at that point. Especially if you're using the Xbox UI / Windows 11 layer and it has that somehow integrated. Now you can effectively have your handheld, pick up where you left off, lock it, pick up where you left off on your PC or your Xbox console or the next gen Xbox PC hybrid, and it be seamless, as in a lot of cases as it is now. It'll just be extended to a much broader segment of PC devices where you'll be able to have a game suspended in the background, be able to take the updates before you pick up where you left off so it doesn't corrupt the save. And that I think is going to be part of some of the stuff that AMD and Microsoft will be working on in the background. Other things, kind of like what Pong had touched on when it comes to the server blades, going after GeForce Now level quality. Remember, a lot of the X Cloud stuff now is basically like Series X and Series S innards in like a server blade. Imagine with the next gen hardware replacing that server blade or keeping those online and ramping up whatever the next gen internals would be in the new server blades. And maybe that's either, I hate to suggest this, but maybe that's the upcharged version of xCloud or the independent version of xCloud. while maybe Ultimate still runs on the older stuff, or maybe the Ultimate subscribers get the newer stuff, and then that breakout that might be $5 or $10 a month for xCloud is on the older stuff. But we'll see how that all pans out. But I do think they're focused on the server blade replacement or bringing the next hardware into that. I do think they're going to look at things like quick resume and potentially some other features that I haven't thought of, or that any gamer has thought of, that it's like you don't know you need it until you see it, kind of thing. Like maybe we do finally get an overhaul of the DVR system at some point, integrated with this chipset. But I think their focus is going to be some of those features that, remember when Phil in that interview with Paris and stuff was saying he wants to have the hardware kind of speak for itself, in the sense of that's going to be the thing to draw you to Xbox. I kind of expect that they'll look into doing additional things like that. But quick resume is probably one of the high ones on the list, and it feels like that's the thing they're really going to target. And I think Jason Ronald even spoke on it, at CES earlier in the year, where it's like it sucks if you have a game and it's not play anywhere, because it's like, well, I got my save on my console and it's a totally different save on my handheld, and it's not the game isn't speaking to each other as far as your progress, so it's almost like you might have to restart all over again. I think they want to get away from that aspect. They want your games to be fluid and continuous, so you stay engaged with them. Like if you have the restart each time you pick up a different device, it kind of defeats the purpose. But if it's seamless transition from one device to the next, you're playing that game until you see it all the way through, and then you're more than likely looking for the next game, as opposed to getting frustrated and putting the device and the game down, kind of thing. So I think a lot of it's just
also. That would play also real quick, folks. That would play also into this one ecosystem. That the thing that I brought up multiple times too. How cool would it be if they get it so seamless that you're playing on your handheld at work, you put the game in pause, right, and you come home, one button, it flips it to your TV. Well, that would be possible if they integrate everything, right, with quick resume, and that state can be just fired via cloud or whatever the case may be, and it instantly knows where you're at, and it picks up right there, and it's just one button, and you're playing on your console, you're playing on your TV at that moment with the controller instead of the handheld right where you left off. That would be cool as hell.
Yeah, I mean that's the stuff I hope AI does. I'm hoping they don't give us these buzzwords and then the AI is like, hey, here's a game suggested based on these other games you've played.
You want a tip? You're having troubles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Watch this video, or maybe get this. Well, they don't really have DLC anymore. That's like a pay to win. Well, some still do, but a lot of them don't. But yeah, I want the AI to do stuff like you said, where it's like pick up from where I left off, or maybe it knows that, hey, we're all like, let's say we all hop back into the division and we're stuck at a certain part at the DLC, and it's like, you know what? Long is at this same spot. Go ahead and join his game so y'all can get through this mission type of thing. Like if AI can do that type of stuff, or help with the looking for group without necessarily making it too intrusive, I think that will be the game changer moving forward. But we know the AI, the bean counters in the background are like, hey, how can we sell more software? How can we keep them on the device longer, and what does that look like, kind of stuff. But they could definitely do some breakout stuff, whether it's quick resume, better looking for group integration, that seamless transition stuff. That's the stuff I think them partnering with AMD is going to help this next gen with.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, man. I like that. It's really like with each generation that Xbox has done, they've had like kind of crazy cool new features that they've implemented. Like this generation was quick resume, right? Smart delivery was another tagline they had been promoting, talking about, hey, you're gonna get the best version of the game or whatever version for the device that you have, right? So like what can we expect for the next generation? Like there's gonna come out with some stuff that we really didn't even think about, and it'll be cool to find out what that stuff is. Oh my god, It's a Steel Rain has appeared on this episode of Fun Speculation Podcast.
How the hell did that happen?
I don't know. He's like he just filled the square. He's here. What's up, bro?
Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
I had a key for the back door. I just got settled in. Saw you guys talking about some games. I figured I'd
Talk about
just sit down on the couch. So don't mind me.
Hey, while you're here still, because I was about to
Are
bring
you
this.
naked?
I am. That's why my camera's not up.
Oh,
Perfect.
okay.
Awesome.
Well,
got done
we
making
might
the-
get more viewers then if you turn the camera on.
No. I don't know if they're looking
More
for
or
the
less.
dad bod.
I tried to convince him to do Stellar Blade cosplay and play it on
I should've.
stream, and he
I
said he would
should've.
not.
Yeah,
That should've-
that'd have
One
been
of those
fun to
Eve
watch.
outfits.
Well, I'm glad you would have been intrigued by that.
So I was just looking at this while we were talking. And have y'all seen the cast for the new Street Fighter movie?
Some of them.
I saw 50 Cent.
50
so
Cent just
Yeah.
got it. 50 Cent just got announced as Balrog.
I think that's funny.
Pretty
it is
cool.
funny as hell.
Jason
He's got to get back in shape, though.
Jason Momoa is Blanca.
I find that hilarious as
Interesting.
well. Is he and are they going to fully dress him up as Blanca? It's only right if they do it all the way.
Right. There's
He
a
has to have
bunch.
the hunchback and everything.
There's a bunch of names on here I don't recognize. Man, the Noah Centineo is Ken though. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, he doesn't
I don't
give
even know
me
who that
Ken
is.
vibe. He's like, have you seen the Black Adam?
Oh,
Rock
no, I have not.
one?
I have not
Okay.
seen Black Adam.
He was in that. He's like, do you watch Netflix love dramas?
I
Like
don't.
teenage love movies. Well,
No,
my
I
wife
don't.
and daughter love like those. Like Netflix has all these like movies like
Okay.
All the Boys I've Loved Before. They have
Okay.
like the Kissing Booth one, and they're like trilogies and stuff, right? Okay, so he's from Netflix. Like he was in all. He
Okay.
was like this teenage heartthrob for
So he's familiar.
Netflix movies. Yeah, and then he's kind of gone more mainstream. He's been in movies. He was in Black Adam. He's done some other
Okay.
stuff, right? But anyway, he's really famous, but he's not Ken. He's like a dark-haired
Okay.
tan guy.
Oh, they're going to put a blonde wig on him.
That's gonna look weird. He wouldn't look right in a blonde wig.
No, I mean that's yeah. When I think of Ken, I think of again what you would have like an American dude. You know what I'm saying? Exactly what Ken is. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'd have to see a picture of the dude. What was his name again?
Noah Centineo.
Noah Sin.
It's
uh,
CENTINEO.
Oh, okay, with a C. Yeah, he doesn't give me Ken vibes.
No,
He gives me Ryu vibes more than
Yeah,
anything.
like,
I can
if-
see him being Ryu.
Ryu would make sense, not Ken.
We can't, yeah, it's a little strange.
Weird,
But
man.
again, we got 50 Cent as Balrog,
Yeah,
so
I'm
we're
down
good.
with 50 Cent, Jason Momoa. It was a fun movie. Let's go. But like, don't cast Mr. Netflix love drama guy as Ken. That's my the reason this is offending me is because that's my character. Like when I play Street Fighter, I play as Ken.
I agree. I like Ken better than I like Ryu as well.
Yeah, because he has a better uppercut. He's like more fun,
He
a little bit
does.
faster.
And he looks good in that red too.
Yeah.
So the red with the blonde hair just the accent so well with each other, you know.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it.
The Iron Man fascination never ends. It just never ends, bro.
Well, hey, still, like you,
What's up?
like you've been also like on board with a lot of stuff we've been talking about with open ecosystem, all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Multiple storefronts.
Again, I was
and
fighting
all
y'all
these
in
things.
2022 when you said Xbox was doing bad.
I did.
I was
Oh,
because
yeah,
that,
yeah.
that was
Oh,
the year
the-
the first party was really bad.
Oh
and
yeah,
I
that
was on the
first party
side of hey,
sucked that
I
year.
think Xbox is doing way better than y'all are kind of giving the credit for. And y'all were giving credit to the second and third party things that were happening, but
Oh,
I was more so on
No, I
the
was-
defensive side of hey, you know, we need to consider all this other stuff versus just considering first party. But my fault, I didn't
2022.
mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. 2022 sucked ass. Like it was, it did. but yeah, like overall, we've still been like up and up. I think of it like I'm curious now that you've. Well, I'll let you finish your conversation there. You got. I think it's the misses.
No, you're fine.
It's the misses. With the. Do you feel vindicated?
Do I feel vindicated? I
Yeah.
wouldn't say I feel. I don't think I feel vindicated. No,
I mean, they announced officially this stuff that we've been talking about still for like 2 years.
I don't. For me, I wouldn't say it's not. I don't feel vindicated by it because again, it was all always a guess, and I'm still not quite sure what the future is going to entail, other than it seems promising for me as a gamer who has created a more diverse library, jumped out of the multiplayer gaming side of things, and my appreciation for just having access and getting more people to experience games, more games than ever before. So I don't know if vindication would necessarily be the thing, more than feel just continuing to feel good about the direction that they're going in.
Right.
So
yeah, I agree.
that's the best way I can put it.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. The whole layoffs thing is about to happen is kind of strange, you know, but overall
But again, do you had all those people from ABK that they brought on, and I mean, sure, they let some people go, but ABK was almost 10 times the size of Xbox. So it's like we got to be realistic about what your expectations are. It's not okay, and like I can't excuse them letting these people go, right? But at the same time, real world is still happening. And there are adjustments that need to be made. Now, is it Microsoft that needs to be cutting all of these people? No, because you know what's going to happen? A year from now, they're going to turn around and rehire folks because they're going to probably need it. Or, again, is this the impact that we're seeing from AI? Have they integrated AI so deeply at this point, or have a real trajectory on how they want to take it? And that's why you're seeing more of the job loss now. Because again, you bring in all that stuff over from ABK, all this stuff over from ZeniMax, you have a lot of redundancies. And in business, for anybody that's familiar with any form of business, when you have redundancies like that, and there's other ways, especially now that tech is moving forward as well. Like this isn't like 10 years ago, I'd be like, oh man, this is messed up. And it's still messed up, but it's like I don't know how much tech is truly going to affect. We're on the precipice of probably having that true next generational leap that we have been kind of asking for over the last kind of 2 console generations, right? Where it's like there can be truly something special that happens, but there is going to be loss in the process. And it's kind of how that saying goes. Sometimes you got to knock things down to rebuild. And if anything, we can kind of admit that Xbox is in a rebuild process. They have a direction. They're becoming more solidified in that direction, but there's still some things that are like, I don't know, because now you have to work through that back talk that you had over the last few years, especially from the beginning of the generation, like y'all mentioned before.
It sounds like those Steelers, it's going to go outside of ABK, right? That this is going to be some performance level cuts.
No, it is.
Well,
Yeah.
Performance level cuts, potentially. Again, the thing that I always dislike, again, I don't like the little people losing their jobs, but the full studio closures do.
Yeah, I hate those.
Really bother me.
Yeah, me too.
I really hate those.
And that's gonna what
that's what I'm.
Will they close? You know what I'm saying? That's the other thing.
That's the question, right? Which ones? And that's the
and
question.
Are they going to be the ones? Is it going to be like
I mean, Arcane Austin is bad for me, but yeah, Arcane.
Arcane, Arcane is another one of those. You're not going to see that another
Tango
game coming out from them.
Yeah, Tango.
Tango
was bad as well.
Ended up living on in a weird way, but when they announced it, like it was Arcane Austin and Tango, and like Tango was like, okay, they had just made Hi-Fi Rush. They had was the other game that they had just done with Ghostwire Tokyo. Yeah, and it was like I was just intrigued, like what kind of games? Because awesome. Yeah, they're just making original cool stuff, you know. So for me, Tango was like that too. Arcane Austin was like, it was good to have those two Arcane studios that were putting out bigger games, right? So yeah, I mean, like, we'll see what happens. I hope it's not a full studio closure. That's what my thing is. Like, if Compulsion gets closed after just making South of Midnight, right?
Good.
If I know, like, we talked about Ninja Theory earlier on, but like Ninja Theory gets shuttered. I know they just had hiring post, but let's say they just got shuttered, and it caught them off guard, right? Or let's say Turn 10 is actually shuttered, right? Like those things will be like,
I mean, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, those will be like, that sucks, because like that affects like the games that we're actually getting, right?
Correct.
And that's where right, like when you have layoffs, or like company and studios like have layoffs, or they have restructuring, or they have new directors or new management, there's always a sense of like curiosity about what's going to come next from the studio still, or what are they going to do. Like the 343 had massive downsizing, and then they changed into Halo Studios, but we still have excitement for Halo Studios now, because they are making new games, and we're curious about how those Halo games are going to be. But when you actually just like shut the studio down, it's like you're losing a personality kind of in gaming, because every studio in gaming is unique, and the kind of games that they make. And even if they're in the same genres, or if they're the same mechanics or whatever, like every studio kind of has their own flavor, right? And I hate seeing those flavors gone. It's like you go to ice cream shop, and like some of your favorite flavors are there, and then they get rid of them all of a sudden. Or like when Taco Bell got rid of the fucking beef Mexi melt, like, or Arby's got rid of the Arby melt. It's like, hey, I want that shit on the menu, right? I understand that, you got to cut your costs somehow, but I want to eat my beef Mexi melts, and I want to get my Arby melts. If it has melt on the end of the word at a drive-through, I'm probably going to order it. But yeah, I hate when you lose something,
I think that's what makes gaming so interesting all the time as well, because at the end of the day, like I was speaking to the real life stuff, game is an extremely volatile market. And if you're not delivering in this volatile market, then you're going to get looked at. Now, whether we put that onus on Microsoft for having poor management seemingly over the last decade, again, they went from 5 studios to over 30 since 2017. And to manage all of those studios, or having hope that they're going to come to fruition, like I would be looking at Rare sideways. Like, y'all were working on Everwild how long, and we were kind of leaving you guys to your devices, and you did what? And now you have to reboot this, and now you're rebooting the game. Not saying that the game is not going to be in good condition now when it releases, but at what point do you also put onus on the actual dev teams themselves and say, damn, well, hey, it is our fault that we weren't over top of y'all as much as we needed to be. But there also has to be that side of it. It was like, well, Microsoft didn't take Xbox seriously. So again, the onus goes back on Microsoft, but Xbox is more so now becoming truly part of what Microsoft's vision is. So the money's getting thrown around, as we're seeing with the changes that are happening. And I do think I am somebody that thinks, like, if you're a creative in this industry, because you are so reliant on people engaging with your content in order for you to survive, if you don't deliver good content, then you're going to be on the chopping block. You can't just have creatives not creating good product. That's what you have. That's what is allowed in the indie space.
Yeah.
That's the issue with AAA, is that you are, it's like going to the NBA. Sure, you can be in the Euro League, you can be overseas, you could be in the G League, or you could be in the NBA. I would consider the AAA as the NBA. And some of the indies, or AA, I would consider more so being the G League. And then everybody else is you hooping overseas to hopefully get an opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I look at it. And if you're not competing on the NBA level, then hey, maybe we're gonna trade you. Maybe this may be the end of maybe we got to send you back down. Maybe we got to break you up and you got to go find a team in the Euro League or whatever the case. I know it's an extreme example, but it's just I try to look at the realistic side of it because you get games like Mind's Eye as an example, who had all these creatives or talent, and then they deliver a game that is half baked on launch, which has been the number one problem that we've been speaking to this entire time. And you have people excusing it like, oh, well, the game, it has something there. It can be good. It's like, well, can be good isn't going to make sure that your studio has the money to deliver your next game or to deliver on the roadmap that you were wanted to
Yeah.
put out there for people. Like it just things go hand in hand, man. It's such a volatile market. It sucks. I wish like creatives could just create games all they wanted to, and the industry would support itself. And the 8,000 games that have just released so far on Steam this year, there's 8,000 plus games that have released, and there's like 900 that released on console. There's 10 times that amount that's released on PC, and we're not talking about those games.
Mhm. Yeah,
There's an avenue, but
there's a
Yeah.
there's a part of it when it like when it bothers me from like okay, let's say, all right, the game doesn't do gangbusters, right, or
Yeah.
whatever, and so they're seeing it as okay, we need to move on. Because I heard that excuse a lot for like Hi-Fi Rush when they like got rid of Tango across the community
Yeah.
or whatever, right? But then it was like, okay, so when Xbox acquired a lot of these studios, like let's say Double Fine, Compulsion, or Ninja Theory or something like that. Let's say,
Mhm.
Okay, we're gonna let you create what you want, be artistic, art house studio, right? Take your time, Compulsion, make South of Midnight. It's going to take you 6 years, whatever. And you're going to make a very artistic, unique, expressive game. And yeah, it's going to do well, but it's not, and it maybe review well, but we don't expect it. It's not going to sell 50 million copies. You know what I mean? It's never the realm of feasibility for a game like that to do that well, right? The same thing with a lot of the other kind of games that when they acquired them, was the vision to help support Game Pass, to help support the Xbox ecosystem, let these developers create the games that they want to make and all that kind of stuff. And then for me, as like, if I look at it from a gamer perspective, looking at it towards Microsoft, I would look at it like, so you knew what they were, you knew what you were buying, you knew how much time you're going to let them have, and you should have reasonable expectations for what kind of sales to get out of that. So for me, like the whole like doesn't perform or whatever up to like doesn't do gangbusters or sell 20 million copies or something would never be an excuse for any of those studios or games, because that's not the kind of studios or the games that they make. That's not the kind of game or studios that Microsoft budgeted for or allowed them to make, right? So when it comes to those kind of studios, that's when I have a problem. Like if Compulsion gets axed after making South of Midnight, like that sucks,
Yeah.
And I won't want to hear anybody say, well, the game didn't do well. Well, like what did they fucking expect that game to do? It's a very unique, expressive, expression type game that's meant to be a game that is something that entices people and it kind of stands for something and all these other kind of things about, hey, we make these kind of games. You know what I mean? Like you can find these unique experiences here, right? But they're not going to go out and sell 30 million copies, So like, for me, I hate seeing studios like that shut down. And that's Tango was another one like that happened after Hi-Fi Rush. Everybody was saying, it didn't perform or whatever, didn't like do well and stuff. And we're like, oh, the Xbox just got to keep the heavy ones, keep the heavy hitters. I'm like, no, they fucking acquired them to make these. They allowed them to make that game. Like, imagine Obsidian only made Grounded. And they were a small studio, right?
But doesn't Tango have another? What is the other game that they've been working on for seemingly eons that still hasn't released at this point?
Tango?
Wasn't isn't that Shinji Mikami? Am I think about the right person?
No,
No, Shinji had left.
yeah, he left right after.
Yeah, I know he
yeah.
left, but there was another game that
No,
they had been
Evil
working on
Evil
for some
Within
time.
was Evil Within
Not
was
Evil
one of
Within.
was one of their biggest hits. No, and then
They had actually like
Ghostwire Tokyo, and then
Oh.
they had actually been
I might
pumping
be
out
thinking about the
games
wrong
pretty
place, then.
regularly. Like they went from Evil Within 1 to 2 to Hi-Fi Rush and Ghostwire Tokyo and Hi-Fi Rush.
Tokyo.
All like it was like every other year there was a game coming out from them. It seemed
I may be
like
thinking about the wrong studio.
no.
I'm trying to think of
No, you're right, Steele. Well, it wasn't a game that they were actually working on. It was a game he wanted to create. He wanted to get back to the Resident Evil feel, and Evil Within wasn't it. And he wanted to do something different. But there were two other projects that would have been ahead of that, and they were already in Ghostwire Tokyo. Hi-Fi Rush was ahead of it, and then there was a rumor of some sort of like anime style RPG that they were working on. So those were like the to be greenlit projects, and Hi-Fi had already gotten that, and he stayed on to help with Hi-Fi, and he had already kind of said he wanted to do his own thing again, kind of deal. Hopefully with better financial backing or better financial spending, because he was the reason why Bethesda had to acquire Tango to begin with. But he wants to make something like Resident Evil, and his new studio, I forget what the name of it is right now, but he's probably going to make something that's Resident Evil like there, if he can get the funding or maintain the funding for it. But it was a internal pet project that he wanted to do, and they wouldn't greenlight it over at Bethesda, and Xbox didn't want to do that just yet either. So
and again, I do think it ultimately, like, for those situations, and then you get Pong's thoughts on it as well. It's just for those situations, I think more and more we are, because I do agree with you, Bav. You if you're acquiring teams or you're bringing teams on, and I think that's why I think the thing with Tango has to be deeper than Hi-Fi Rush didn't just do well.
Right.
I feel like there's more to the story than just that, because it was a quality game. They already had an intention of making a second game, and maybe you could say, oh, well, the first game didn't do good enough to greenlight a second game. But it doesn't mean that you would necessarily have to get rid of the studio. And again, it does seem like they fostered their transition to get picked up by somebody else, right? So they had enough time to still be compensated, still be taken care of as they move to whoever picked them up next, which they did end up getting picked up. I just think the further we move into the future, especially with how AI is being implemented as well, we're just going to see a harsh reality of like, it is time to put up or shut up. We can't keep having these smaller teams. Again, Expedition 33, I think, exposes a major hole in the industry. Those devs, some of them, the core team, were working at Ubisoft. That is like what I would imagine is, if I was making a game, that would be like, oh man, I want to work for a big studio, and I want to be under a publisher that has all that has the support and all this stuff. And then to see how they've been going, and to see how things have been kind of transitioning, and then you see them leave Ubisoft and create this experience, and essentially, I don't know, like, they say that the stars aligned, but like, how often do the stars align where you get a small studio together, or is it just the timing of stuff? You have more available to you ever than before. You have the capabilities from people to get it out of the mud. Like, we're in an industry where we're having a conversation and arguing about whether crunch is okay, knowing that in real life at your job, that sometimes you got to crunch, bro. Sometimes you got to put in the late night oil to churn those numbers. Sometimes you got to stay late to get things done. And I think some of that is still happening, but the industry treats it like it's an issue, or we can't have that same kind of passion, which is where I would, lean into how you guys feel about, like, oh, back in the day kind of thing, where some of that seems to be lost, and people seem to be lost in their laurels. Again, I don't know. I don't want to see more studios get lost, more talent get lost. I'm not necessarily worried about compulsion. I think that their expectation for that studio was somewhat realistic, but again, we'll see. What I am going to be interested to see what those cuts are and what the impacts is going to be, whether it's on a small scale or whatever the case. If it's 2,000 plus people, I mean, again, it just falls in line with what the tech industry is continuing to see. This is an issue across the tech industry in totality, not just Microsoft, is having a major job loss problem right now. And is that because of AI? Maybe mostly, but what else is going to play into that, and how does the things transition?
Yeah. We'll find out. We'll see what happens with the announcements that are coming. Rumblings mainly about turn 10, so I don't know who else has been mentioned, but
It said UK, so
yeah.
whoever's in the UK, that's who Randy
Playground is in UK, but I mean they got Fable coming, and then they got
Leon is over there, but I don't know
numbers.
Yeah,
so I would think that Playground would be given some leeway.
Oh, I think
right?
Playground's good. Yeah, I think unless I don't think Playground.
With how Fable's looking,
Horizon's supposed to be next year too. So
Jesus,
I mean they got 2 games launching next year. Playground does probably.
Activision has some studios over there too, right?
I believe so.
Pretty sure they got a couple studios over there at least too. Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be wild to see though. Do we think it hits tomorrow because it's Friday, Bad News Friday, or do you think they actually wait until next week, or now that the rumblings have started, they get it out there before anybody really?
They're gonna announce the coolest game we've ever heard of before in the history of Xbox.
Well, they just announced next gen news, right?
Yeah,
So they did that thing,
and they're gonna announce the coolest Halo or something
Is that what they're gonna do?
ever, and then the next day
by
they're going
the
to
way,
announce that 5,000 Xbox employees are laid off and we're shutting down 5 studios.
They got
That's
some
their style.
we were talking about Activision having place in UK. Blizzard is has a big presence in UK, and I can see them maybe doing something with that. I mean, I know Diablo Immortal has been doing I guess decent still.
Overwatch hasn't been. So
yeah, Overwatch has been, and I know they brought some people back, but it hasn't been enough to fight back what Marvel Rivals has done. I think Marvel Rivals has stuck its stake in the ground now at this point. So it's making people look at Overwatch sideways. And then Diablo 4, like again, I know we loved it when the game came out, but again, like y'all releasing $40 to $80 DLCs. I mean, again, I'm off board on that. Like it's part of Xbox. Like these are updates that I should be getting as part of me being an ultimate or something to that degree. If you want me to continuously engage with it, or if you just want that audience to continue to play or experience those games, I'm not going to continue to play Diablo if you're going to tell me that I'm going to be locked off by expansions. Right, like at least right now. Oh, like Young Steel, maybe that would have been different, but that's not how that stuff worked back in the day. You know what I mean? Like even Reaper of Souls for Diablo 3, that came years later, and it fixed a lot of the issues that Diablo 3 was having at the time. And I think, and that was a solid game. So it's like I think there has to be something done there. I think World of Warcraft is also kind of falling off too. So that there could be some major losses from that side.
Yeah.
But again, I know we mentioned it's outside of ABK as well. So
yeah, I don't know who to expect, but
Bad News Friday. I mean, I hope lead that into the weekend and then start Monday strong with something, I guess.
I think it's almost worse. Like it was just like hey, we know what's happening, but we don't know what. You know what I mean? It's like I'd rather just like the news drop and like instead of all these insiders be like, hey, Xbox is gonna be doing some major shutoffs, because it's a big Microsoft thing in general, right? Like we know it's affecting Xbox. So it's like, oh, who's getting cut? It's like you find out, like you're doing a sports analogy. It's like you found out that hey, your team made a trade or is about to make a trade or something. It's like
like they do.
It's like it's trade fucking deadline. Or like it's like
they find players find day of who's getting cut,
who's gone,
team now.
It's like the end of training camp for the fucking NFL. And it's like, I've been watching this preseason games and I really like these rookies. And then in like the one like on Hard Knocks, when they would like follow like this one guy the whole story of Hard Knocks, and then that's the one that they cut him, and it's like everything you just watched for nothing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll find out, I guess, how bad it is.
Yeah,
Could be a bunch of nothing. Could just be, hey. Could
be
be.
them announcing another acquisition
Could be.
instead.
Yeah.
We're gonna lose 2,000 people. Then we're gonna require somebody real quick.
We've
Maybe it's a maybe it's
WB.
an Ubisoft acquisition, and then they're just letting 2,000 people go right out the
Jesus
bait,
Christ.
and that's what it's.
yeah.
You would need to lose 2,000 people to get that.
Boy,
God
that'd just be
damn.
the start.
I was like, oh, more losses coming. That should tell you right now. Oh Lord.
There's only one person that needs to go at Ubisoft.
Yes. Well, the
Yeah.
entire family, the entire
Yeah.
family,
Yeah.
and his management team.
Well, at
Yes,
this point,
I
I
guess.
don't know if that's going to be such an easy trade-off with Tencent being
He
seemingly more
brought back his
involved.
unqualified son. Like, did you hear that shit? His son, who has 0 qualifications, he brought him back to start making major decisions, and there was already internal rumblings of people going, "What the fuck are we doing?" Like, guy does not know
Again,
anything
bro,
about the gaming industry.
This is what's happening in the gaming, and that can't be okay either, bro. Like,
Yeah,
that has to be addressed.
Is-
and if they want to burn themselves to the ground,
They
like,
are.
dog,
Is he a
Yes.
gamer?
No, he's
I
got
don't
nothing to
think
do
so.
with gaming. That's why everybody's like, "What the hell is Eve's doing?" But again, Eve's already created his lifeboat. He's gonna
Yeah.
sink the main boat. He's already got
Hey,
his boat.
that's how it
He's ready
looks.
to rock. Yeah. Yeah.
Because him and his family is on that boat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just fine with 10 cent.
Jesus Christ. And what's crazy, I mean, Tencent's been.
Oh yeah.
I know we're against the Chinese support a lot, but dog, I mean, I don't know what Tencent's true intention are, but they obviously understand gaming more than most, apparently, because they're giving good support
To some degree, yes.
to some degree.
Yes, they have.
They're going to take that company from under them some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
They're going to find the technicality kind of thing.
Oh, they're just gonna let
Oh.
him keep borrowing and borrowing.
Tencent
and
with
eventually
Assassin's
just gonna wipe
Creed,
'em.
Jesus Christ.
I want to find the Guillermo boat and Skull and Bones and sink it.
Could sink it.
Yeah, and sink it. And
Hopefully,
Skull
the
and
game
Bones.
is still alive by then.
It's on sale.
Oh.
It's on sale for like $9 right now. You can buy it on the
Oh.
Xbox store.
Is it?
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. Like the Founders Edition or whatever the hell it is. Yeah,
It's a great game. It's a fantastic game. It's the best C game that you could ever play.
Sure.
Speaking of video game movies, which we were talking about earlier with the Street Fighter one, have y'all seen the Minecraft movie yet?
No,
No.
I probably
You
won't.
know,
But
I would never.
It's on Max, so it's on Max
Okay.
now, available to watch.
that would make it more likely.
Yeah, so I just public service now.
Watch
I
it
haven't
together.
watched it yet, but I was wondering if it was worth a watch. Chat, has anybody seen the
people
Minecraft
said-
movie?
People said that if you have enjoyed Minecraft at any point, you'll probably like the movie. It's because it's exactly that. There's a lot of Minecraft references, memes, stuff like that. If you're into all that, Jack Black does the Jack Black thing, and I don't think that's a negative. I know some people feel like that's a negative. I mean, I like Tenacious D. I like Jack Black as a dude overall. So, and I know he can be super over the top, and I know he plays himself in a lot of roles, but I think if you're into that thing, yeah, it might be worth a watch.
Cool. I like Jack Black. Jack Black's cool. All right. Thanks. Anyway, all right, everybody. I'm running out of things to talk about. Unless we want to talk about game price increases and a bunch of negative shit, which I don't feel like
No.
doing. So I think this is going to do it for this episode of Fun Speculation Podcast PM and the PM Xbox Ultimate.
Ooh, I like it.
I didn't set it up. Yeah. Kay was like, I thought you were going to do tidbits. Yeah, I was like, maybe next week.
Next time. Next
yeah.
week. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely forgot all about
Well,
tidbits. I'm sorry.
Well, I didn't even mention it. Hey, Puzzy, I think we're going to be doing tidbits on this thing. I didn't even tell you anything about that. So, yeah,
60 frames coming. 60 frames coming, Mav. Don't
On
forget, remind
Hellblade?
everybody.
too.
Yeah, on Hellblade. Hellblade
Yeah.
2 to celebrate the PS5 launch. Xbox Series X is getting 60 frames.
To
And I
celebrate
saw
the
people be
PS5
upset
launch, we
about
finally
that.
get it, yeah.
but-
Oh, it's stupid still. It should have been out for Series X before they ever announced the PlayStation 5 version. They shouldn't have waited. It's dumb. It sucks. It is a first party title, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that.
At least it's
I do
free.
think I
Yeah.
At least it's free.
fine.
for me, the bigger issue is just obfuscating information or just not being honest and saying that, hey,
which we've
it's going to take time to be done. It can be done. It's just not going to be available right now.
So
even if it was going to coincide with the PlayStation 5 release, and you didn't have to say that per se, but if you would at least tell your consumer, stop playing us like we're dumb. And again, it's hard for me to say that because a lot of people act dumb, but y'all gotta stop playing us like we're dumb and just tell us what it is, yo. Like, hey, we're not gonna be able to do it right now. It's the same thing with Starfield. Don't tell me that Starfield can only be done on 30 frames on console, and then 3 months, 6 months later, it's 60 frames.
It's still worse than that is saying this is the way you wanted it to run.
Well,
and
that
both
too.
of the
I make it better.
I called out Howard for doing it. I called him bullshit because he likes his 30 frames mode. I said have a God mode in there. That's fine. I called him out, but Ninja Theory literally said this is the way the game's supposed to be played. 30 frames per second cinematic.
Well, and again, I don't necessarily
come on.
With the kind of game that it is. I hear it, but at the end of the day,
it's bullshit.
If it's an option that should be available, that 60 frames is something that, again, I think this is an issue that Microsoft has to continue to evaluate and deal with. This is what you sold the generation on. 60 frame games playing at a certain resolution. Like, if the option isn't going to be there day one, tell me why, and then tell me when I can expect it. And again, it shouldn't take other people on Twitter who know hardware to say that, hey, this can be done on this hardware. It's just, it probably took time to optimize. Oh, it was Unreal Engine and it needed more. Oh, they got more tools now, so now they were able to get it to work better. It's like, okay, I get the reasoning for the Series S. I hear it. You know what I'm saying? But that's still a fault for it. But that's still a fault to look at Xbox a certain way, because again, I still think you should be getting 60 frames bare minimum. And then for the Series X, it's like, bro, you're not helping. You're not helping fight your scenario.
I don't even have an issue if they be like, hey, we can't get it done yet. It's I hate the lying aspect of it. Like, it's just such bullshit. And the same thing, like, again, those fucking Black Myth Wukong developers, fuck those guys they were lying their asses off too.
And again, people are arguing about that too, saying that, oh, well, I can't believe you guys believe that there was something going on behind the scenes, and that you would think that there's some kind of deal that got cut, and they just got it to work, just miraculously.
Oh yeah, miraculously.
That date is special.
Yeah,
that date is special. They do everything on that date. Oh, okay.
Including
it's in the contract.
Including signed deals with Sony that expire on that date. Which is very important to them. Yeah.
Yeah, but like they like went out of their way to like talk about how it was going to take years to be able to figure out how to optimize the
years
game
of
for the
experience just to be able to do it.
Yeah, and like, just why even say that? Like, you knew it was coming. At that point, they would have already known, you know what I mean, that it was going to be releasing on Xbox. The other thing with the developers, like you said, like Todd Howard, like, hey, this is how want you to experience the game. Oh, hey everybody, we know we've been waiting for the 60 frames update. We can do it now. How many games are there? Those like Redfall had it, Starfield.
What's worse than
that? Hellblade.
Is that same week modders dropped 60 frames for console.
Yeah,
that's what makes it worse. Like, that's not even the most optimal. So if a modder can do it, why are you having? I get if that's not your goal, you're just trying to release a game. I get games are complicated. I hear all that, but dog, modders are proving time and time again that there's something off. Like, even with the bigger studios, even for somebody like Todd, dog, like, there's y'all's perspective on what you evaluate is worth it to the consumer. It's like we've gotten away with we need to pitch to the gamer versus, oh, I need to make my cinematic experience become everything that I really want it to be. And it's like, it should be I feel like there has to be a balance in this industry, because at the end of the day, we're putting the ducats down. So
yeah, just at least be transparent with it, like just tell us what's up instead of this bullshit that we can see through. And the problem is too, when we call this stuff out when it happens, people like call us out trying to say that we're fucking just trying to make up shit and stuff. You know what I mean? It's like anyway.
Like,
But
okay, man.
just
Oh,
hey,
Yep.
it is what it is. This is the number one reason why I have a gaming PC though, is so that way you can play the games how you want at launch.
I mean, and you're getting more access to your library than you ever had before. And again,
Yeah.
you just look at what your consoles used to be versus what they're trying to make it.
Yeah.
Or what they are and what they are today versus and what they can be.
Mm-hmm.
It's I think there's an obvious direction there, but nonetheless.
All right, everybody. Well, this was this episode of Fun Speculation Podcast Ultimate in the PM, and I appreciate every single person that came out tonight to hang out with us. We had like almost right around 100 people at one point here hanging out in the chat. You guys rock. Thanks for sticking with us after being away. Lots of fun talks ahead as we look forward to games releasing and awesome second half of the year with more announcements and news. Xbox gonna be at Gamescom also, they announced as well, so there'll probably have some stuff there, so looking forward to that. But hey, the one and only Fuzzy Belvedere, tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
As always, this is always awesome to get with you guys and just talk games and just shoot the shit, basically. But yeah, this was awesome. Everybody in the chat, thank you guys for coming out. Greatly appreciate it. And if you want to hear my rambles and rants on anything gaming related, just do a search on social media for Fuzzy Belvedere. You'll be able to find me. And I'll be on Breakfast with Boom 10 a.m. tomorrow on Double Barrel Gaming. Hope to see you guys there. And then Fright Night with Ferocious Fee, 6 p.m. on my wife's channel. We're going to be talking about what do you call it? Megan, the original movie. We got to see 2 as well, but the original one will be the movie for the discussion tomorrow. So we'll see you guys there in the chat.
Right on, Fuzz. Hey, we're seeing that tomorrow, actually. So we're seeing Megan 2 tomorrow. Looking forward to that. And Steel Rain, thanks for using your key and sliding in the back door. Made my whole week, man. Hey, thanks for being here.
Combined it all together.
Appreciate you, Steel, and tell everybody where they can find you.
Well, one, you can find me on the Xbox console exclusive Mecha Break, July 1st. No, that is factual information though, which is I find extremely interesting, and I don't see enough people talking about that in the Xbox community. Who you guys just want exclusives so bad. Now we get an exclusive, and everybody's quiet. Nobody's talking about how excited that they are. What happened now? Anyway, Saturday mornings, live a split screen, non-console centric platform, just gaming conversations galore, hours worth of content, at least 2 hours at the beginning of the show. I would consider just talking about straight up games, man, just getting to it. Other than that, Steel Rain, the T is a 7 everywhere. Google's the easiest place. We did another stream about that's the whole stop killing games thing that's going on, and things that we have kind of been talking about behind the, well, not even behind the scenes, but on podcasts as well over the years. How we want ownership for our games and the path to doing such, the options to be able to do such, and just what that's going to entail. Getting into that was super dope. So hey, expect more content for Live a Split Screen when I can, man. I'm trying to break through that barrier of just saying F it in moments and just doing it and just going live. So other than that, yeah, man, gaming, and catch me in the streets of X, otherwise known as Twitter, or the Xbox ecosystem, because it works so well between the Xbox and the PC itself. So love y'all.
Right on, bro. Appreciate you. And one and only Pong Soul, what about you, sir?
It was great to be back here, everybody. Great to have the brothers here as well, hanging out with us and getting to talk some gaming earlier in the week than just Saturdays, man. I love my Saturday mornings. There's nothing like them, but man, I did miss getting here and talking topics before then too. So yeah, no, it was great to see everybody. Great for the chat to come out as well. And yeah, man, this is special, man, coming back. So love you all. Nothing but respect and for coming out and supporting us again on Fun Spec Fam since we've been gone for a while. But we'll see some more of you soon, next Thursday. Otherwise, you guys know how to find me, Pong Soul, everywhere. Follow me, I'll follow you back. Obviously, Saturday morning. This guy right here, Mr. Steel Rain, and I are going to be having some conversations as we always do on Saturday mornings. And we get the chat involved too. 3+ hours. Buckle up, get ready. 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern time, Saturday morning. Set your alarms for that one. And then otherwise, be on the lookout. We might have another show coming back sooner than later too. PTK Blam might be stirring somewhere in the distance. But keep your eyes and ears open for that one. Otherwise, everybody, it is the golden age of gaming. So please get out there, have a great rest of your week, Friday into Saturday, whatever you got going on. Play what you love what you play, and I'll talk to you all real soon. And hey, PC players, don't forget, Warcraft 1, 2, and 3 Remastered, the RTSs are now on Game Pass. Go get them.
Does 3 have Reforged?
What,
Or
the
is it
3?
just
Yeah, it
Reforged?
is. I think it is Reforged. Yeah, it's like 31
Reforged
gigs.
edition?
It's huge.
Yeah, I gotta
'Cause the other ones are
download
super
them.
small.
I gotta download them, Pong.
Yep, get them.
And also, before I forget, God Emperor Sofa King earlier, member for 20 months, said optimization. Yeah. And then Game Seeker with 2 Canadian, appreciate you very much, said welcome back. And same to everybody in the chat, welcome back to Fun Speculation. Thank you for being here. Have an amazing night. We'll see you next Thursday. Peace out.
Peace.